Hello everybody, this is Sarah007 here.
With Tyclops.
And yeah, we saw that movie that apparently no one else saw, Fant4stic.
Fant4stic. We did see Fant4stic.
I love how everyone's calling it that.
I think it works. It's because, I mean, otherwise you just call it Fantastic Four, and it's like, well, there was another movie called Fantastic Four, which also was not very good.
And really, this movie was not Fantastic Four.
No.
Let's be honest.
No. Have characters from Fantastic Four.
So yeah.
Okay, but
hold on, let's give it some context. You're probably wondering why we're doing this so late.
Yeah.
First off, we do not want to contribute to its opening weekend gross.
That was the main thing. Just when we heard how terrible it was, we were like, all right, we're not gonna go and give this any chance of like any more chance of getting more money for that.
And we also weren't able to get together anyway, so even if we wanted to.
Yeah, we didn't. I mean, we could have seen it separately, but we figured we'd. And I'm very glad we waited.
I'm glad too, because of all the news stories that came out about the background.
That gave us a lot of context.
Yeah.
The fact that we already went into the movie with all this context of just how much had gone wrong.
Yes. We did not view this as a film. We viewed this as a experiment gone wrong.
Yes. We went in we were very biased against it. I'll give it that. We went in. We did not expect anything.
Although when I went in, I cleared my thoughts of everything until.
Yeah, you were.
The movie started.
I kept bringing up little points, and you were kind of trying to defend it a little bit.
I was trying.
And then they got to a point where we were just laughing. And we'll go to say the reason we're really glad we waited, aside from the new stuff.
Yes.
We ended up going to see this movie at like 2:30 on the day that we're filming this. We saw it a few hours ago. 2:30 in the afternoon. It was in some really small theater, and there was
$6 for tickets.
Yeah.
So that was.
It was a really nice. It was actually a really nice theater.
You wouldn't be able to tell from the outside.
Yeah, no, it's a very sketchy theater, but it's very nice on the inside. And it was the two of us and our old buddy. What was the name that he went by on the channel?
Lipton
Peach Iced Tea.
He showed up for one video in the Marvel Ultimate Alliance playthrough, and then he hasn't shown up since.
Yeah, we might get him back on here eventually, but I don't know about that. He went with us, and we just ripped the movie to shreds while watching, because there was literally no one else in the theater. We were providing our own commentary for it.
It is the best possible viewing experience for this movie.
That was the best way we could have seen it.
I had the best time in a movie theater that I have had all year.
Oh yeah, it was wonderful. I loved that experience.
The movie was
hilarious.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. But
terrible.
I saw it with you guys, and both of you guys are pretty smart when it comes to like looking for plot and character stuff and figuring out what makes a good movie a good movie. So you guys were just ripping it to shreds, and I was just going along for the ride, really.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Few things I want to go ahead and say. I've seen a lot of people saying that it's not as bad as you think. It is totally as bad as you think. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
It really is.
It's hilarious how bad it is.
At a certain point, like I was trying to defend it, and at a certain point I was like, it broke me. I'm done.
Yeah.
Screw this movie.
Second point. A lot of people saying it's stupid. No, or not that. Yes, it is stupid. A lot of people saying it's boring. It's not boring.
Yeah,
I would
say it's dull.
I would get. I mean, imagine just because we had friends. I would make sure that you don't watch this alone. Don't just sit there and just stare at it. Make sure you have some friends who you just want to go at it with.
And riff at a movie. Would you say this is so bad it's good?
Yes.
See, I would say
absolutely.
That too. Yeah.
Which a lot of people were not saying. That seemed to be the vibe I was getting. I was like, I'm not really looking forward to this because a lot of people are saying it's not so bad it's good.
But once again, we had the ideal viewing.
That's true, and that's
since nobody else was in the theater, we didn't feel like beholden to anything or like, oh, maybe we should stay quiet.
No, we were just.
Look at that stupid thing they just said. Isn't that stupid?
Yeah, by the end we were just openly laughing and talking and saying whatever came to mind.
And cursing at the screen.
Oh, it was great. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to go see it. I mean, at this point you might as well, because you're probably going to be able to find really cheap tickets for it. And you might be able to do the same thing we did and find a just completely empty theater where you can just bash the movie freely.
Well, that's only if you like doing that sort of thing.
Which is true.
Go with a bunch of friends who know what this is going in.
Yeah. Except Lipton Peach Iced Tea did not know what it was, but he went in and enjoyed it. Anyway.
We were like, it's got a 9% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and he was like, oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, and
then he ended up having a great time.
Yeah.
And he's not a big movie guy, and he really enjoyed himself tearing the movie apart. So
yeah, like I mean,
I think we're rubbing off on him.
Yeah, it's just we'll get into the actual specifics of it in a second, but basically,
yeah, this isn't just a review of the movie. We're also talking about all the background stuff with Josh Trank and Fox and that whole nightmare production. We're covering it all.
Yeah.
Spoilers, obviously. all over this place.
And we'll do that. Spoilers is not really that important either in this movie.
We're pretty much doing a settle for the bronze type thing for this movie.
Little bit. It's going to be in depth.
If this video is really long, that would be why.
But I mean, I know at this point
there's a lot to cover.
I know we have a lot of loyal fans, but even I don't think we can influence the productivity and the profit of this movie at this point.
Oh no, that's not the point of this. The point is this is just
no. I'm talking about the fact that I was going to recommend that you should probably. I would say go see it.
Yeah.
Go see it at this point. Go find a super early middle of the day matinee sort of thing. See if you can get some buddies. See if you can try and get your own theater. You know, where nobody else is going to show up, because it's already doing so terribly that it's probably not hard at all to find a small theater that, you know, is going to be completely empty.
Yeah.
Go do that and enjoy the crap out of it, because...
Do not take kids to this movie.
That too.
It's PG-13. Do not take kids to this movie.
That too.
Like,
I don't know why you would, though. We'll go ahead and say this.
Superheroes! I bought their toys once! Please tell me there wasn't a Happy Meal tie-in for this like there was for Batman Returns. This gets dark.
Yeah. It's very strange.
Not warrant that
it's very strange.
We'll get into all of that.
Yes. All right. So basically, would we recommend it? Yes, for all the wrong reasons.
Yes.
I think you agree with me there.
So bad it's
Don't
good.
see it alone. Get some friends. Get some popcorn. Rip the crap out of it. It's great. It really is.
No.
It really is so bad it's good.
I'll put it to you guys this way. We are planning on doing a commentary of this when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Yes, that's
we want to do a commentary just bashing the movie.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for that, because I came out of the movie theater wanting to see it again, and just go through a second time.
Did you ever think you would say that about this movie?
No.
I know you have wanted this movie to fail.
This movie, well, see, that's the thing. When I first heard about this movie and heard, you know, the direction they were taking everything, I wanted it to be either fantastic, like not a pun or anything. Like I literally just wanted that came out wrong. I wanted to
Did it?
I wanted it to be amazing, or perhaps
sensational.
No, I wanted it to be either really good or just god awful, and it was god awful. I loved it,
but in the best possible way.
Yeah,
like we're saying, it wasn't like dull or boring.
No, that's the thing
that
surprised me so much, is that I really did not expect to enjoy myself that much. I thought I was just going to be like,
I was worried that we were going to be bored out of our minds, and then lo and behold, it's pleasant surprise.
Which is. It's kind of a statement to what's going on, because you can tell that they're attempting to do something with it. They're not just sitting there like throwing stuff up on a screen and saying
they had an initial idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is they have the initial idea, and as the movie goes on, they just go more and more off the rails as far as how much they actually like are sticking to this. But there's all it's like, as they're just crashing and burning, they're always staring up at like this initial idea, like, yeah, we can do that still. Like as they're just falling into this pit of like despair. There's
like at every point in the movie, they're like, we can still aspire to greatness.
Yeah,
and it's like they just keep falling.
They never stop trying to do it in the feel of like the way they're trying to produce it. They never stop trying to make it awesome, even as it's just horrible.
There's not like a Spider-Man 3 moment where Peter Parker's dancing where it's like, okay, nobody cared anymore.
Yeah.
There's not that moment. It's clear. It's like somebody's putting effort into this.
It's like somebody wants to make this work somehow.
Yeah.
No. Which is what makes it so good, is that it's not just some dull thing where it's like it's lifeless, and they're trying to do what they can to save this in some way.
Let's just take the movie on its own terms first.
Okay.
And then we'll get to all the Josh Trank Fox. We'll get to that. Yeah. Let's start with the movie on its own terms.
Mm-hmm. The movie on its own terms. Subtitle.
Where do we start?
I mean, I'd say just straight from the beginning, because I think we can probably think of a few points along the way.
The opening was fine.
Yeah,
like all the flashback stuff with Ben and Reed as kids.
Which, I mean, there was the clobbering time thing. That annoyed me a little. Where his older brother was hitting... Yeah, Ben's older brother was hitting him and said, it's clobbering time.
And apparently there's
which actually... It annoys me, but it doesn't. In some ways, it could have ended up paying off really well.
I know. I would have been fine if that was the reference. Like his brother says that, and then Ben never says that.
Well, that would have
been fine as a reference, not as a.
I don't know.
I
have mixed feelings about it because on the one hand, it's like, okay, so that would explain where he just comes up with this strange,
really dumb line.
Yeah, strange line. But on the other hand, you're suggesting that he uses that line because he's picturing himself as his abusive brother or something like that. So I don't know. That's a weird line. That was the first thing where I was like,
And
okay.
apparently there was a subplot with more of that stuff that's completely cut out of the movie.
Something about his brothers or his family abusing him and stuff like that. Let's see, what would be the next stop?
Well, the main thing that bothered me was the way the teacher was reacting to
Reed. Yeah.
Homer Simpson, the guy who voices Homer Simpson. I just know that off the top of my head.
But the very first scene, they're doing like these. It's a very cliche scene. It's very, very cliche actually, and to the point that it doesn't make sense because it's the kid is up doing his report in the front of the class while Reed Richards is writing on his notes, and then the teacher's like, "All right, Reed, go do your presentation," and Reed just ignores him and keeps writing on his notes. He's like, "Do your presentation," and they do that like 2 or 3 times, and then all the kids start laughing at him because somebody makes a joke about him, like Earth to Reed or something like that. And he looks up.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah. And he looks up and he's like, "Oh," and the teacher's like, "Go do your presentation." And he gets up.
Question first. It says it's set in 2007. What kid in elementary school would be making a Star Trek reference?
Oh, you're so right.
This is before the Star Trek reboot came out, mind you.
Wait, so does the movie take place in 2007 or does
no that when
scene?
They're kids, but I think the future stuff is supposed to be present day.
Okay, so that scene is 2000. That is hilarious. You're totally right. That doesn't make any sense.
What kid would
is watching these like old, just hard sci-fi charts? I don't know.
Is it because Fantastic Four is supposed to be hard sci-fi?
Not in this movie. So anyway, so he walks up to the front of the class and he starts giving this presentation, and it's this like 5th grader, and he's talking about quantum physics and he's just going into it and talking about biomatter and all that.
Okay, for a 5th grader, he's getting pretty hardcore into the details.
Yes. And the teacher's like, "This is all fantasy. Sit down. That's ridiculous. You were supposed to write about a real career."
No.
If I had been that teacher.
Hold on. Didn't the kid before him say, "I wanted to be like a football player or an athlete or something"? It's like, let's not squash that kid's dreams. But he's like, "I want to be in science. I want to do scientific stuff. I want to make this big discovery." No, you're an idiot. Don't do it.
Just the fact that he's saying, we'll get back to the next point in this little timeline in just a second. Back to back here.
It doesn't get any smarter, folks.
No.
This is the smartest the movie gets.
But the fact that if any teacher was just sitting in his 5th grade class and he's just sitting there bored out of his mind by all these kids talking about, wanting to be a football player, an astronaut, and all this stuff. And then this kid walks up and he's like, "Yeah, here's what I know about quantum physics and how I'm developing some way to do a teleport." And I know they talk about a little bit how this kid, or how Reed has always had crazy ideas. They mentioned something about a flying car and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I kind of get that.
Like, I gave up on that project.
Yeah, but he's still like, this kid is talking about things that he should not know about at 5th grade. It's okay if he does that in the movie, but they should not react like, "Oh, that's stupid. Go sit down. You're an idiot, kid." They should be like, "What the crap is this kid talking about? I'm gonna go see if I can if any scientist I'm gonna send him somewhere to
get an interview or something.
Get an interview or a scholarship or something. This kid is obviously not supposed to be in a public elementary school."
Yeah.
That bothered me right off the bat. That really, I was like, "Are you serious?" Because that's a cliche I'm talking about, where it's like, "Oh, the kid has big dreams, but the class laughs him down."
And he needs to be an outsider.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say, for anyone who hasn't seen the movie and doesn't really care about spoilers and just wants us to spoil the whole thing, there's no character arcs for anyone.
No, not really, no.
He starts off as an outsider, and then he somehow becomes leader of the team at the end.
Yeah.
There's no
There's no transition.
Whatsoever.
He's an outsider up until a certain point in the movie, which we will, again, get to, and then he's not. Then
he kind of takes charge of the team for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
It's baffling.
The team just starts trusting him.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "We're friends now. We're the Fant4stic." Oh wait, no.
We'll get to that. Ben hears him talking. He's like, "Wow, that's interesting." And then it cuts to Reed's trying to steal
from his junkyard, which is already very convenient.
I'm fine with that.
The fact that you get kind of a small town feel from it makes me more or less okay with that. But
see, the opening, I told you this in the theater for like the first 15 minutes. It felt like Super 8.
Yeah, I agree. It's very Super 8-ish.
There were very distinct tone shifts. I'm like, we're watching a different movie right now. And we'll get to the last 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So anyway, so we're moving right along.
But Ben finds Reed's trying to steal his parts, and they're like, "I'll help you. We'll be best friends."
Yeah.
And then they try and build the teleporter thing,
and he swaps it out with rocks, which doesn't really make sense because that's not how the teleporter works later on. But whatever, it's a prototype and it messed up or something like that.
See, I thought the original idea, I didn't realize this at first, that the car turned to dust, like it destroyed.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh, it destroyed the car, so it's not working yet. So he's gonna fail a few times, and eventually he'll fix it, and it'll be great. No,
and
it just doesn't.
You know what also bothered me? They were talking about Reed was talking about how he there's like a couple of throwaway lines where he's like, I wish I was adopted, because he has like a natural mom, and then he has a stepdad.
Yeah.
And then nothing is done with that at all.
No, they never. We see his parents in one scene, right?
Yeah, when they're trying to teleport the model car.
Yeah, it shows them like freaking out because Reed's doing something.
And then the dad's like, "Oh, he's doing it again."
Yeah, he's like, "What did you do this?"
Almost like he's about to go out and abuse him or something.
Yeah.
But then that scene's just completely dropped, and then it cuts to.
And then 7 years later, cuts to the science fair, and this is another point. This is the second point where the cliche just goes over the rails because the same teacher. For some reason, was it not the same teacher?
It's Homer Simpson. Yes.
The same teacher shows up, and this is 7 years later. So they're what? They're seniors, right?
It's the county fair science.
Yeah,
science
but
fair?
Still,
that doesn't make any sense.
So I guess we're supposed to assume that this kid will never follow his dreams to be a quantum physicist because his teacher just hated him. Basically, he shows up and he's like. And he teleports. He does. Obviously, something happens because he teleports the plane, this kid's model plane.
He's able to successfully teleport.
Let's do a little aside here. The little kid. So we're supposed to believe. You brought this up. We're supposed to believe that.
I was just confused.
That these. I mean, I guess you said it's a county fair, but why are these Reed and Ben are supposed to be, I guess, in 12th grade, which they don't. They look older than high schoolers. They look like college.
Like 30-year-olds.
But this is something that plagues all movies.
Especially Jamie Bell with like all the veins popping out of his neck and stuff. It's like you're not in high school.
And that's whatever because that's a problem. Literally every movie has. It seems like. I really hope they fix that in the new Spider-Man movie, but we'll see.
For this one, trying to be gritty and realistic, no. I'm calling BS on this one.
There's so much else wrong with it that I'm not even going to care that much.
Yeah, but no. Now that I've seen the movie and I've sat through it, I'm done defending. We're calling everything.
But no, what I was gonna say. So he takes this model plane from this little kid, and I'm trying to figure out like what the deal. Like I guess this little kid is there.
Oh, and for some reason they make a point that they left the model car that they were going to use behind.
Yeah. Ben just forgot it, and it looked like that was gonna be like a comedic thing.
But it wasn't funny at all.
Reed is just like, oh, okay, well I'll just steal this kid's plane.
And then he just kind of grabs it, and the kid's like 8.
Yeah. And it's like, why is that kid there? Why is he right beside them? What's going on?
Is it supposed to be like kids from all over the county have been called based on
I guess,
projects?
But wouldn't they be organized in some way so that the 12th graders weren't beside the little elementary schoolers? I don't know. I don't know what the deal was. Anyway, so back to the point. He steals this kid's plane, and it obviously does something. It if nothing else, he does this like. Or his machine creates this like resonancy that destroys the backboard of the hoops.
Yeah.
In the basketball goal.
But the plane ends up coming back and it's clearly charred or like slightly.
Yeah. So it's like obviously
degraded.
This thing is doing something powerful. Like something is going on here.
And Homer Simpson is just like, we don't have time for magic tricks. You guys are disqualified. What?
Why? What? And then. So that happens, and I'm like, what? No. Okay, this is already losing me. This did not take nearly as long as I expected it to. And then, Sue Storm and Franklin Storm.
They just show up. They're just there.
We don't know why. We don't know how, and that comes back later.
Hi, Reed. Hey, we're conveniently here because we look all over the United States for different science fairs.
All over county, we look at places with county fairs that contain 12th graders and elementary schoolers, ranging like in one gymnasium, like
trying to build portals to other dimensions.
Like we just look around, you know?
Hey, Reed, you want to come work for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, why not?
He doesn't even take a look at, Reed's background or anything. He just
It would
shows
have
up.
been fine if they had at least a throwaway line or something.
We've been interested in you for a while. We've looked at your project, something like that.
Yeah.
Something where they have.
I thought you were about to say they did say that, and I just missed it.
No. I'm saying they didn't say that, and they should have. That would have fixed it. That would have been like, okay, so they've monitored him.
Yeah.
Cool. It's kind of something that's overused a little bit, but whatever. That's how they find a smart
It's
kid.
almost like they just show up out of nowhere and say, "Oh yeah, we need to get the plot going. Hey Reed, come with us."
Exactly. That is exactly what happens. And then, so the next big snafu for me was, so they moved to New York, or Reed moves to New York, and he brings Ben, and then Ben goes back.
But then, yeah, he just tells Ben
So
to stay behind.
So then, when Ben needs to come back for the plot later in the movie, he just calls up Ben. He's like, "Hey,
you were a part of this.
You were part of this super dangerous teleporter thing. You're gonna come with us on the first mission."
Yeah.
And Ben's like, "Okay,"
And
even though it's like 2 a.m.
There aren't any real clear signs that they're the best of friends, other than the stuff we saw of them as children.
Yes, other than the
and
stuff.
now that they're more grown up, it's like we're dealing with completely different characters.
Yeah. Other than the
They
stuff.
barely get any screen time together.
No, they don't. They get more screen time together as the Thing and Reed Richards, and even then, it's not very much at all.
There's not an arc. They pretend to have an arc, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
No, it doesn't. So moving right along, they go, and actually most of the stuff at the lab is not bad, I would say.
It's
most of the
fine,
stuff.
It's just there's no meat to it.
The Victor Von Doom stuff, really quick.
Oh God, no! Don't do this to me.
No. So Franklin Storm is he's at the board meeting. Mm-hmm. Is that what Franklin Storm? Is that what they call him? Okay. He's at the board meeting for his project, from some mysterious army suppliers, I guess, or something. I don't know. I think they probably do explain that a little.
They kept the details fuzzy on that.
Yeah. Who is played by what's do you know the name of the head guy who is head of the board or whatever that keeps showing up? I've seen him in a bunch of movies. I can't remember his name.
He's in the Incredible Hulk. He's Mr. Blue in that. And
I think he's the guy who's set up to be the leader, right?
Even though they're never going to come back to that.
He was in Oh Brother Where though. I remember that really specifically for some reason.
He was in Holes.
Oh yeah. That's actually where I'm talking
about. That was a movie.
Either way, I like how we get more interested in talking about the random actors in this movie than actually talking about how bad the movie was.
It's a thing.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say it's him, which is weird because he's kind of like a comedic actor almost, and it feels a little strange here. I don't know.
And he's generic corporate. I want to weaponize everything.
You'd think you'd get at least like the menacing old guy for that or something. I don't know. Either way, he's looking through their files for the project or whatever, and he's like, wait, what is Victor Von Doom's name on this? And
it's clearly a reshot thing where they originally said Victor Domashev
because
that's how it was filmed.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, the fanboys are pissed at us.
Yeah.
Maybe we should change this one thing to be more like the comics. The one thing that's dumb.
Yeah.
Dumber in the comic version than it is here. Yeah. They're like, we need to change that.
Exactly.
That just goes to show the mindset of why this movie fucked up.
Oh, I'll get into Fox's mindset. This is gonna go on for like an hour. Sorry, loyal fans. You're gonna be sitting for a while.
This is pretty much a podcast discussion. Whatever.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Anyway, so he goes to
or stop, whatever.
Yeah. He goes to the board and they're like, "Why is Victor Von Doom on this? He burned all our data and stuff." And
but that's like a throwaway line.
Yeah, something like that. And like they just talk about how they really don't like him. So then, Franklin Storm, the next scene, I think it's the next scene.
Yeah, it's the very next.
He goes and he recruits Victor Von Doom back to the project. Like, didn't they just tell you that they don't like his name on the project?
Now, to be fair, we were talking a bit over that scene.
So there might have been some stuff we missed.
I think the context of that scene was supposed to be he's a dangerous guy, but Franklin Richards is going to bring him on anyway.
You mean Franklin Storm?
Yeah, what did I say?
Richards. Which is their son.
Whatever. It's all the same.
Anyway, maybe that was a plan. I don't know, but it seemed like from the way that scene started, it seemed like they were saying that he wasn't going to be in the project, like he'd already been kicked off the project.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but here comes the weird thing. When he goes to hire
Victor Von Doom.
I'm gonna call him Domashev.
Domashev.
Yeah. Okay, this is where it becomes clear that the whole hacker thing was what they were going with. Because I remember Toby Kebbell when he originally said, "My name is Victor Domashev in the movie, and I'm a hacker," and people lost their shit.
Yeah. Because we see this dude.
Not to say they did much better with what they actually did with Doom,
but yeah, we see this dude. He's sitting in this very grungy, dirty apartment thing.
He's playing Assassin's Creed.
He's playing Assassin's Creed
for some reason.
Plug.
Because hackers play Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. And he's got like, doesn't he have like an earpiece on or something like that, or some sort of goggle thing or something?
Was he wearing a hood?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought he was.
Maybe. I don't know. Franklin opens the blinds and he's and like they immediately close again or something like that, and it's just very dusty. And so I mean, obviously they were going something like that. And then he's very clean the rest of the movie. And he's very like pristine and like he just is a normal person.
No, but the way he gets Domashev back on the project is. If Victor goes, is Sue going to be there?
Yeah. Which is a weird little that's running thing.
That's fine if you want to set that up.
Yeah.
That he's interested in Sue. They do nothing with that. They do nothing.
There's like one scene where they try to do something with that. And we'll get back to that.
Face.
Okay,
this whole movie is full of setups that never pay off.
It's setups that they try to pay off, and they don't work.
They're setups with no middle to connect to a payoff.
A lot of people are talking about how this is a movie with no second act. I disagree with that. I think it's a movie that they took the second act and they split it down the middle between the first and third and just mixed them up. So like you've got all these points that happen in the beginning, and there's kind of a rise in the action in the fall, and then you've got. So I mean, I guess technically there is a first and third act, or only a first and third act, but it's like the way they do it. There's never really a like. It's just kind of one big block. Like, it never really develops into its own standalone, like, builds and like, it doesn't separate out the plot lines or anything. It just kind of, like, all just muddles together.
It's a series of things that happen.
Yes. Very true.
With barely any connection.
There's lots of stuff that you're supposed to pick up on.
Yeah.
That doesn't really do enough to be picked up on.
Okay, but then they begin the lab stuff.
And the lab stuff, because the lab stuff, they skip like all this character development. Now I remember what my problem with that is.
Oh, let's get to our favorite scene, the only good scene in the movie.
Oh yeah, the thing with
the first scene where Reed and Sue actually get to talk to each other in the library.
Mm-hmm.
There was character development going on.
Yeah, there was a little bit of chemistry. Like I love the fact that they developed Sue Storm as this kind of independent, person. Because in the comics she's just like a complete wimp, and she plays in with like all the stereotypical 60s woman's
housewife stuff.
Yeah. And so it was really nice that they seemed to be updating that a little.
And then Reed, a little awkward.
Yeah, and he's kind of like forcing her to talk to him anyway, even though she doesn't really.
See, I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, like I don't mind that. And
I relate to that. I related to nothing else in this movie. I'm like, oh, I know people who try to talk to me when I'm trying to listen to music. That's funny.
Yeah, and then she gets up and walks out on him. But I forget what she said. She has some little line that's actually.
But then she walks away and she starts thinking about it, and then she smiles a little bit. It's like, okay, she feels something for him, just a little bit.
Yeah.
There's something
I think doesn't she call him Captain Nemo or something at the end of that, or something like that?
Yeah, because they're talking about how much he likes that book.
Yeah, they talk about how much he likes finding 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and all that, and that's nice and all. And it's a nice little scene. It's a nice. If the rest of the movie had been built around those kind of character developments, that would have been nice. However, and we'll get a little more into this. It feels like all of those. It feels like that is what they try to do with every scene, where it's two characters talking about something.
Yeah. And
they never get as good as that scene was. The dialogue and the chemistry are never as good as that scene.
Yeah.
So like the rest of the movie is full of all these. There's never like mixing of characters in it. It's always two characters. It's a lot. It reminded me a lot of the prequels actually.
The Star Wars prequels.
The Star Wars prequels. Yeah. The way that that they're always shot so that there are two characters and they switch this. They get more creative with the way they're switching out and looking at the characters, but it's almost always two characters or action happening.
A camera and B camera.
Yeah.
I think you're not giving the prequels enough credit, and this is me saying you're not giving the prequels.
I actually disagree. What makes you say that?
I can watch the prequels without completely laughing my ass off.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about specifically the camera work.
No, I
I'm just talking about the way the camera work and the conversations are set up. It's like two characters talking, and they mix it up a little so that it's interesting to watch. But it's still just two characters talking, and they don't usually say a whole lot of stuff that's important.
Or they just repeat themselves.
Yes, or they repeat themselves.
Like the Johnny Franklin Storm scenes. Okay, so we cut to Johnny, and he's like a street racer for some reason. And then the back of his car catches fire because he's gonna be the human torch.
Yeah, the back of his car catches fire when he does something. I don't know.
And then he like slams into a pole, and then Franklin gets him out of the hospital, and then they yell at each other, and then they hint at Johnny's jealous because Sue's clearly the favorite.
Yeah. And
which goes nowhere once again.
Again, that's a decent setup. I did notice somebody.
I have no sense of Johnny's character.
No.
I mean, half the time he's super serious, and then the other half they have joking. He's
joking
around.
and reckless, whatever. And I do.
What's
I
his
also
character?
Somebody pointed out a little side note here. Somebody pointed out the whole thing about how he's black in this movie when he's on the comics. Whatever, sure, fine.
That's not the issue. At all.
Somebody pointed out, and I can't remember where I saw this. It was somewhere online, that they make him play into the stereotypes of the reckless black guy.
Yeah.
Instead of making him just a normal character, they don't make it. This isn't progressive by making him black.
Yeah.
They just. I mean, I have no problem with that. I've never really had a problem with that. It's like, whatever, if you're going to do it like that, do it like that. They explain later that Sue Storm is adopted. Cool, whatever.
I thought Michael B. Jordan was excellent casting.
Yeah.
I know you haven't seen Chronicle.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna show you Chronicle.
Okay.
But he reminded me a lot of Johnny Storm in terms of I'm not taking anything that seriously. I'm just palling around, having a good time.
Yeah, being a little reckless.
Yes.
Which is fine. But the way they do it in this movie, it comes off a little bit like a stereotype where it's like, so it's the...
Like I said, they don't even keep his character consistent because half the time he's just angry and pissed off and like, I'm a rebel, I hate my dad. And then the other half is, I'm a crazy person, I'm doing wacky things.
No, it absolutely is. Just like he's just part of the team.
I have no sense of his character.
No. He flips back and forth all the time.
Which is so funny because Chris Evans in the previous Fantastic Four franchise, I knew who that guy was. I got a clear sense of who that guy was and what his motivations were.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy, I got nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
There is nothing there.
I agree.
Bring down the house.
Yes.
But then we go to the montage where they start building the machine, and Victor's just being a dick to Reed for some reason.
And that's the annoying thing is that it feels like you get a lot of good... It feels like what they could do is they could take this time and they could really develop some characters and have some good conversations between all the characters and really develop some stuff so that later on they could pay off these character relationships.
Yeah.
Instead they do it in a montage. And it's like, by the time the montage is done, they're all pretty much friends. There's no real problems between them. They're all pretty much happy together.
But are they really friends?
Sure. There was a montage and everything.
It's like a bad 80s sitcom. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And so at the end of it, they finish everything and they do a live testing on a monkey.
And it works.
Which you had a problem with because it's...
No, the monkey looks like he's straight out of one of the recent Planet of the Apes movies. No, I'm not kidding.
And I haven't even seen those movies, and I can agree with you. I can tell from the commercials for those, or the trailers for those movies, I already know that is...
Looks straight, spot on.
They just ripped it.
Like Weta, I think Weta's the company that did it. Like, they came in and like, okay, a little CGI monkey, here you go. That's what it feels like, and it makes sense because Fox, they did the Planet of the Apes movie, so that makes sense. But it's just
it seems a little lazy,
It's very distracting, is what it is.
Yeah, that too. Because I noticed that before you said anything. I was like, what? And like
Planet of the Apes, Fantastic Four crossover confirmed.
Like I haven't seen any of those movies, and I'm just like, wait, I've seen that before.
Maybe that's Fox's secret plan. They won't cross it over with X-Men. They'll
save it by crossing it over with Planet of the Apes, because nobody cares about that trails,
I kind of care.
No, you don't.
Shut up.
No, I
yeah, but then whatever, the military guys come in. I don't care anymore at this point.
And they're like,
they're
like, we're turning the project over to NASA, and they're like, what? We want to work on it. We made this. We want to make it more, and we want to do the testing, or whatever. And I mean, that's a fine, I guess.
And the guy's like, you guys are a bunch of kids, and you just built the thing. Thanks, but your job's kind of done. Yeah. And clearly, I understand corporate meanie heads position.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. That makes sense to me.
It's like you kind of want... If you're going to be...
These so-called scientists have no experience in the field.
Yeah.
Why would you send them to this alternate dimension? But no, they're all pissy, and then Victor, Johnny, and Reed get drunk because they're really upset, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna go in there, and we're gonna go there first.
Re-enter Ben Grimm, who...
Oh yeah,
and Reed calls him in the middle of the night, and he's like, "Hey, you were here from the beginning. Come do this with us." And Ben's like, "Are you drunk?" And he's like, "Yeah, but it doesn't matter." And that's their only line about it. And then they go into the alternate dimension.
Yeah. Sue does not go with them, mind you.
Yes, Sue does not go with them, which infuriated me.
This is where the movie really starts to break apart.
Because in the first movie,
I'll let you get your.
In the first movie, they had the decency to at least make Doctor Doom. He was an addition. Yes. The rest of them were of the group.
It was his whole plan or he was funding.
But I'm saying, as far as when they went on the experience to get the powers, he was an addition, not a replacement.
Yeah.
This movie, they don't even do it. They replace Sue Storm. She only gets powers because as the thing comes back, a wave of something hits her, and you see her flash, and she turns invisible for a moment.
For reasons.
Yeah, and it's like. You literally, and we'll get to why she's even there in a second, because I'm also really angry about that. But it's like, well,
are you really angry at this movie? You should be happy.
Yes
with this movie.
and no.
You should be shaking this movie's metaphorical hand. Okay. This is exactly what you wanted. Okay.
It is. It really is. I'm loving hating it. I really am.
This is a movie we love to hate.
So she does that. Or she gets hit by that, and that's how she gets the power. She's not even with this group. She
doesn't go to the alternate dimension until the very end of the movie.
Yes.
Spoilers.
That's one problem I have with it. That's one problem I have with them. Like, come on now, they're the Fantastic Four. Like, what? Why would you even? What? Like, you don't take her out of the like. This makes it feel like it's being even less progressive. Like we were talking about the Johnny Storm thing earlier.
We're leaving the woman behind.
We're leaving the woman behind, and it's like, well, okay.
Like that's probably not what they were meaning by it. But
and she does save them.
Yeah,
I will give them that. She is the reason that they were able to come back from another dimension.
Yeah, which
is okay, I guess, but it would have worked better if they'd used Doom for that. Anyway,
okay, so they go to the
well, hold on, no, not the one I ran. That's the one problem I have with it. Second problem is it is stupid, utterly stupid to ever give Doom powers. He doesn't have powers. He builds stuff. He builds stuff.
In both versions.
Yes. Why?
We're not talking about the Roger Corman version. We're just.
Oh yeah. I've never seen that. I don't know.
Ironically, the one that was not supposed to be released in theaters is closer to Fantastic Four than either versions have been.
But it is so because the reason Doctor Doom is a character that people really like, despite the fact that he has a really stupidly obvious name, is the fact. I mean, that's Stan Lee's fault anyway for naming these people like that anyway. But
don't complain about the Victor Domashev thing. That is such a small thing to be whining about.
Yeah. And you can still make the jump to Doctor Doom from that.
Yeah.
You know, like if they called him Dom, like throughout the.
Can I speak to something first?
Really quick? Yeah. Go for it.
Beforehand, I think it's during the montage or right before it. Sue goes, "Oh, look at Doctor Doom over here."
Yeah.
And that makes no sense considering they have him as Von Doom in the movie. It's like, oh, yeah, my name's Doctor Doom.
No, I actually don't understand where your problems with that are coming from, because it's like, oh, yeah, she's making fun of the fact that that's his name, I feel like. But I do kind of see where you're going with it, as far as like it would make more sense.
No, that just seems too obvious and kind of dumb if you're doing it that way. Like if he's called Domashev and then you turn it to Doom, and then that kind of inspires him to call himself Doom at the end of the movie, like that. I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah.
That seems a lot less cartoony.
I do agree. It's a lot less cartoony.
And you're supposed to be realistic and gritty, even though it's a Fantastic Four movie.
Exactly. Precisely. They got it perfect. No, what I was going to say, it makes no sense. The reason he is such an interesting character is because he's got all these really deep insecurities. Like there's talk in the comics. I don't know what the actual canon stance on this is. That well, first of all, he makes a mask to hide his face because in the explosion, I forget what exactly it is. There's an explosion,
completely unrelated to the Fantastic Four getting their powers,
and it disfigures him. And so because of that, he builds like a suit to, cover his body because he's so insecure about the way he looks.
Yeah.
It doesn't give him metal skin. It doesn't give him crazy blasting powers. What he does to get crazy blasting powers is he builds his own devices and he trains in magic. Because his mother was a gypsy and there's this whole backstory about him in Latveria. And there's all this...
We don't have time for backstory.
Even though we spent half this movie on it.
We got 90 minutes and a reshot final act. Go.
Not including the 90 minutes. You got to cut out stuff in the 90 minutes to put that in there.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. No, but that's the whole point, is that he's a man who never... He hides himself from civilization because he's afraid. He thinks they're going to think he's a monster. And he develops his own powers because he wants to be self-sufficient and is trying to, like, do things his own way and control the reality the way he sees it.
Isn't that weird?
That's
a lot more interesting.
Which is an awesome foil to the Fantastic Four, who have these crazy powers, and they present themselves to civilization anyway. Mm-hmm. And they don't try to use these powers to control anything, even though they have them. It's the opposite. It's a very cool foil, and it fits very well, and that's why they work so well as villains, or as heroes and villains, and that's why he's their archenemy. He was always set up like that.
Yeah.
And what I like, it just doesn't make sense to give Doctor Doom powers, because then it's just generic bad guy comic book villain.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for him.
Okay. At this point, let's go ahead and just skip ahead a little bit, or we'll fast forward.
Well, one last thing. Okay. One last thing. Well, the movie skips ahead too, so we can do that.
That's kind of what I was going for.
Okay. The one last thing. Franklin Storm doesn't even have like an alert of any. It's in no way told.
Sue gets the alert that the portal's been activated.
Sue Storm gets the alert that the portal's been activated, and she calls her dad, the head advisor on the project. And she's like, "Hey, we got a problem."
Oh, and mind you, there is no security in this place whatsoever.
And she's sitting there with all of these like guys standing. I don't even know where she's supposed to be. She's
in one of the labs or something, I guess.
And she's in this lab full of people. She is the only one who gets an alert, and she's like, "Oh crap!" And so she calls her dad. She's like, "We got a problem. You got to get down here." And it's like, why did he not have something set up where he got told about? What?
Or maybe you have security guards on site who, if they see
maybe not
suspicious activity, especially by Victor Domashev, because hey, we've been told he's a dangerous fellow. Maybe we should stop him.
Maybe not allow the maybe not allow like the 18-year-old kids to sit around in the lab like in the middle of the night. Maybe tell them to go home.
Yeah.
I don't know, that might have helped. That might have prevented something.
This movie's so stupid.
It is.
And we haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet.
No, we haven't. And so then Victor, while they're in the fancy other realm, Victor Von Doom
Planet Zero, right?
Sticks
with a zero at the end instead of an O. Because hey, we're hack frauds and we don't care.
Yeah. Sticks his hand in the green.
Okay. Planet Zero in the trailer, like that's not green liquid. It's like red orange kind of. It looks more like lava.
Yeah.
And I have no idea.
And they change it green. I'm pretty sure to make him look more like Doom. Because they reshot the whole final scene, remember? So I'm pretty sure that what they did was just...
Fucking stupid!
I'm pretty sure what they did was just change it all to green so that it would make sense with their final act that they just made. I'm pretty sure that's what the deal was.
You're probably right, and that makes sense. But... Okay, these people are dumber than the Prometheus scientists, okay?
Victor Dobashev just walks up to the pool of green goo of the black...
It's alive!
It is the black goo from Prometheus, only now it's green, and he says it's alive, and there's something about like rocks floating on it, and then he just sticks his hand in.
For reasons.
'Cause.
Oh, and Ben, he has a couple of throwaway lines, he's like, guys, maybe this isn't
We should go back, guys! Because he's the only one who's not drunk. Which is already, kind of crapping all over...
Are they still supposed to be drunk at this point?
I feel like they're kind of crapping all over the franchise as well by saying, oh yeah, the Fantastic Four, they did that when they were just drunk and making a stupid mistake. They weren't doing it for science or anything. They just were being idiots and messing around.
And that's another thing. Reed said before he wanted his work to make a difference. It wasn't about having his name out there.
Yeah. But then he's like,
I want to be the first one
Exactly.
Oh my God, Reed's even more unlikable than I thought he was. I didn't think that was possible. Anyways, the planet starts exploding because he touched the goo from Prometheus.
That's now green.
Yeah,
so then he falls in the goo, and they all fly back. And then I really don't like this. Johnny, what is it? Johnny gets hit. Does he just get hit with flames or something? Or
I don't know, but for some reason he starts catching on fire.
And Ben Grimm. This would work in other scenario, in a different setup. But the way it looks, Ben Grimm literally just gets pelted with this pillar of rocks going directly towards his face.
Yeah, but it didn't look like it was like scattered. It was like directly.
It was just rocks flying at his face.
It was like the screenplay just said, "And rocks, you are going to go directly at his face." Go.
It's like they just had. I don't even know how you would. It's just rocks shooting. It's not scattered. It's not a pile that just hits him.
Obviously, this is a nitpick, but
still,
hey,
it just looks hilarious because it's like, so some rocks just flew up at the exact perfect angle.
Yeah, the shot was very
bad.
Yeah.
And for some, that gives them rock powers. And then they get up and it's like this horror movie where Reed is stretching and everything. And they get back because Sue Storm teleports them back.
Yeah.
Because she's in the lab, because she got the alert when Franklin Storm didn't. And they all get back and then...
Okay. Is the image of seeing yourself all stretched out really that terrifying?
I guess it's supposed to be.
No, because I know...
It was kind of a horror movie, I have to say. It was dark. It was creepy.
I mean, yeah, but I know... They tried basing that kind of stuff on like David Cronenberg movies, like The Fly. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I haven't.
But that is disgusting. It's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Gets spliced with a fly.
Yeah.
And he starts turning into one. It's disgusting. And this is so much
tame.
So tame compared to that.
Yeah.
And especially because he's like so quickly able to like, oh, I'm gonna strap myself, and now I'm back to normal. Like.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But anyways, he escapes. For some reason, why does he want to escape? They're like in a military base now. Their version of Area 51, I suppose. And then
something about how he says something later on about how he can't work under their conditions and he needs to be on his own to figure things out about their powers.
For some reason,
I don't know.
But he runs into Ben before he leaves, and Ben's like still stuck in the rocks that you see in the trailer. He's like trying to pull himself out. Yeah. He's like, Reed, help me! And then Reed's like, okay, I promise I'll help you, but I gotta get away because the security guards are on my ass. And he ends up escaping.
Yeah. Somehow. He just kind of runs through like half of a military installation.
Cut to a year later.
Yes, and then it cuts to a year later.
Okay, this is where really the movie breaks.
Yeah. We skip all this stuff about them developing their powers, which is probably the coolest part of the Fantastic Four.
But the coolest part of an origin story about the Fantastic Four, I still don't think we need an origin story. I
think
you could just start off, hey, they're the Fantastic Four.
I think next movie, because unfortunately there will be a next movie.
Will there though? And we'll get into that.
Somewhere down the line.
We'll get into that.
Well, yeah, then I'll get into my ideas for that later. Anyway, in the present, 1 year later, they skip like all this stuff about them developing their powers so that they can be pretty powerful by the time they face a doom, which is pointless. So we'll get to that.
Ben's a military weapon. He's just murdering people.
All of the CGI for this looks like video game cutscenes.
Yeah, like they have a bunch of his stuff on video monitors. And that seems like scenes they actually shot for, the actual movie.
Yeah.
And then they just condensed them.
Yeah, that was my thoughts too.
Things that they put on video monitors.
And then Reed has been running around for a while, and there's this really crappy CGI when he changes. He can apparently change his face. He only does this once.
Can they do that in the comics? Can he do that?
I don't know. I'm not a big enough Fantastic Four reader to know for sure. But in this, whatever, regardless,
but he transforms his face, and the shot is
terrible.
Yeah.
He transforms his face, and it just looks like it's from like it suddenly turns into like a 2000s animated movie or something like that.
I've seen better CGI on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. This is very true, actually.
Yeah.
This is very, very true. Yeah, it's
Which
bad.
I'm not comparing the overall quality of these two things, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., oh my god, they're so much better. I can tell what's going on.
Anyway, they go...
But then they're like, Johnny and Sue, they need to be
weaponized, yeah.
And then Franklin Storm, Why is he still there?
I pointed that out like 3 times because I just couldn't stop laughing at it. That Franklin
I
Storm.
don't think I fully grasped it until you said it a couple more times. Like, wow, that really is stupid.
Franklin Storm is back on this project, even though he let 4 teenagers,
3 of whom were drunk.
Yes, just go teleport to another dimension in an experiment that could possibly destroy the entire planet.
Yes, because they have that scene at the beginning, or in the montage where Sue's like, "Yeah, you could have destroyed like everything with that little science experiment you did back when you were a child." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
he's not sorry. He's just like, "Oh, yeah, I guess you're right." Well, it didn't.
Is that supposed to be set up for Doom's plot
at
the end?
It is.
Is that what they're calling setup?
Yes,
I'm not I'm not giving it that much credit. It's not set up.
It is. That is the plan. You can tell from the way they talk about Doom's deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a mess.
No, but then he's like, "Yeah, you're not weaponizing my children," with his Morgan Freeman light voice.
Yeah. You can tell he's trying to kind of be Morgan Freeman, and because he says all these like really wise lines, and stuff like that. He's like trying to give like life.
You guys need to be a family, and it's about destiny and what you want to do with your life. And it's like, fuck you.
They go on, and then
they eventually catch Reed. Has he figured out anything about their powers? Did he even learn anything?
No.
He made himself...
There is literally no reason for that 1 year timeline. There was nothing... The only thing that did was accelerate how fast their powers went.
There's no reason to have Reed escape, because he doesn't learn anything other than, hey, I shouldn't trust these people, even though he's... so mind-numbingly
He comes back, and there's this confrontation between him and Ben, and that's how they get he gets recaptured, where Ben's like, "I don't trust you anymore."
Why?
And then he hits him, and he knocks him out, and then he wakes back up in the...
Like, was Ben brainwashed or something? That would have been interesting. If they were somehow able to brainwash him.
I don't think that was the plan.
Reed.
I'm
thinking of a better ideas.
He just is a dumb rock.
Yeah. And then Sue shows up with her horrible wig because of reshoots.
Yeah, which is all throughout the movie. That didn't just happen.
Everyone has mentioned this, but you can clearly tell which stuff has been reshot because she has the horrible wig.
Yeah.
That makes her like really
blonde,
almost platinum blonde versus like her dirty blonde look when it's not reshoots.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Reed. I was just following orders. I can't help you out or anything." And he's like, "Oh, I can't trust these people." And it's really flat. And compared to the opening scene where they're beginning to have a relationship, it's clear that they don't care.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly reshoots, and they're like, "Can we just get the paycheck and go home?"
Yeah. Exactly.
Like at this point, they stop caring. So with my usual philosophy, when they stop caring, I stop caring.
Yeah. So then I guess the next big point is Doom.
Oh yeah, because for some reason they send another team to go to Planet Zero.
And
is there context for that?
Also,
is there a reason why they send that team?
They just want to explore Planet Zero for resources or some crap. I don't know. That whole motivation didn't make sense to me either. It was like, yes, we can...
The motivations for everything are so fuzzy.
Because it's like, oh, we can go to Planet Zero and get resources and elements and energy, and it's going to be great. And then we can evolve the planet.
And we can figure out ways to save Earth.
Which they never explain what they're talking about.
We're going to a wasteland.
Are we talking about global warming, or are we talking about...
Planet Zero is a wasteland.
Yeah.
We're gonna use the green goo and we're gonna revitalize humanity. What?
I don't know.
What is going on?
And so they send another team there for some reason, and they're there for like 5 minutes, and not even 5. They're there for like a minute, and Dr. Doom immediately walks back up, and he's wearing a hood for some reason. He's got a green hood.
You had the joke. He's like, yeah, he found a biodome on Planet Zero that had a green cloth that he was able to make.
Yes, there's just a biome of clean green. Like the other half of the planet that we never see, it's just all made of green cloth, and that's what he did. That or his newfound powers, which are completely unexplained and make no sense whatsoever.
And they change depending on what the script needs to be.
They can create green hoods.
That's just insulting.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
and what is he like? Fall unconscious or something? Because they end up taking him back to Earth.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Whatever. I'm completely done with this movie at this point.
Yeah. And so he falls unconscious, and they take him back to Earth, and they trap him somewhere, and then he's like,
I'm going to kill you all because I hate humanity, because that was hinted at a couple of times in this movie.
Yeah.
And his plot makes zero sense.
He literally just runs around massacring everybody in this facility and somehow doesn't run into the Fantastic Four.
Okay. Here's where the tone really gets weird.
Oh, yeah.
He starts blowing people's faces off.
He kills the dude, the government, nameless government corporation dude. He kills him
by exploding his face, and there's like blood everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, what movie am I watching now?
And he looks terrible, but you could tell they were trying to make him look really creepy.
Yeah.
And then
like the idea is that the green goo or whatever caused his suit to burn onto his skin.
Yeah. And so he's like marching around everywhere and just murdering people and
in similar fashion by exploding their heads,
and
there's blood.
His powers are limitless. He's just like everyone's dead.
Yeah.
Like he's doing I'm sitting here like there's literally no way they're going to convince me that the Fantastic Four can stop him.
Yeah, it's impossible.
No, there is no, and they didn't. They really didn't.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
This movie sucks.
Yeah. And so they take him and he goes into he goes back to the teleporter thing.
But he kills Franklin.
Oh yeah, he kills Franklin Richards.
I keep saying that Franklin Storm.
Which is and really one last tidbit before we get into the final battle. I was talking about how Franklin Storm, it's like why is he here? And then they also bring back Reed Richards, who just like ran away from them and like what?
No,
and was the whole reason they're in this mess in the first place.
And he was like standing up there with all the leaders when they're sending that team in and they find Doom.
It's like, why is he there? Why do they trust him again?
Hey, maybe we should have that guy in a holding cell. I don't know, the one that escaped custody.
What are you doing?
Why is he here?
Why did he come back?
Do we need his help?
Why did he come back after getting knocked out? Why was he just like, all right, I'll come, I'll stay, I'll fix your stuff, guys.
So dumb.
So anyway, Doom goes back to the other world and uses the portal to send a beam of light back to Earth. And
Because
there's a big portal.
He wants to pull Earth in.
And he starts absorbing all of Earth, and it goes through the beam and gets vaporized in his big like dream catcher thing going on.
It felt a lot like Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Like giant beam shooting down and just destroying stuff.
Yeah.
What is with superhero movies and giant beams of light into the sky? Particularly blue ones. Happened in Avengers, happened in Amazing Spider-Man. What is going on?
Everything. I have no idea. It's
happened in Transformers 3.
Actually, it happened very similarly in Avengers, where it was going through another dimension.
Yeah.
That's another thing they copied from Avengers, which I'll get to in a moment. To the big thing that makes me angry. Anyway, so they're going and they're like,
he kills Franklin Storm.
Yeah. And Franklin Storm's like, you have promised me you'll watch out for each other. And it's like, well, that is the most overused line. This is full of overused lines, by the way.
Did Sue and Johnny have any scenes before then? They may have. I do not remember.
I don't think so. I think they got like one.
Yeah,
the entire movie.
They had one.
The entire movie.
I know they had one. They may have had a couple more. They have no chemistry. We know nothing about their relationship other than he's kind of jealous of her. That has no arc. That goes absolutely nowhere.
Uh-huh. No, I agree.
And then, so they're like, okay, I guess we're the only ones left. Oh, and Ben's still pissy at Reed for dumb reasons. Yeah. And they end up going into the portal to go confront Doom.
Yeah. And they fly with their video game graphics. They fly out into Planet Zero and avoid his big planet denullifier. And they land and they're all standing there in a row. And it's like, they're heroes now. They're looking epic.
So what you're thinking now is Doom should explode their heads.
Well, and that's what I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right. So is it going to be like they're going to fly up and Doom's going to be like, you should join me in my quest for cleansing the Earth or whatever. And
something where he starts smack talking them and that's their motivation.
Or like he's trying to get them to join.
Or just
why is he not killing them? Basically,
stuff that makes stuff that makes a movie.
Something that will make me assume that he has a reason for not killing them.
Yeah.
But then, okay. So first of all, I want to say that Reed Rich first of all, Franklin, or not Franklin, This movie's killing my brain. Reed Richards.
It feels like alcohol.
Yes.
And they have the line about that. Reed goes, ethanol kills brain cells. And then he just goes straight into drinking. Yeah. That is the metaphor for this movie. It's like, hey, this is a dumb idea. Let's do it anyway.
So, something about how Reed is like, he develops a plan.
That is the perfect metaphor for this movie. Okay, I'll
Reed develops a plan or something. I don't know. Something like that. And because isn't this where Ben trusts him again?
For
reasons.
Some reason?
I don't know.
My brain's a little fuzzy on that one.
So they all are standing there, and Johnny Storm is like, I'm gonna go kill Doom.
We have not been drinking, I swear.
Johnny Storm is like, he's mine, even though he just saw like him murder all these people.
Oh yeah.
And then, but he's reckless. And then Sue Storm.
And then, Doom just covers him with a bunch of rocks, and he's like trapped under rocks.
Yeah.
Blow his head up.
Yeah. And then Sue Storm runs out there, and I was like, okay, so we like Sue Storm, so that's why he hasn't killed them all yet. Or no, Sue Storm is invisible. She runs out there invisible.
No, she's invisible, and she's flying with her force field because she can do that. And I leaned over to you the second he was like, "Where are you, Sue?" And he's trying to like feel the energy in the air for her, and then he attacks her. I leaned over to you and said, how does he know she has invisible powers?
Yeah, there was no point at which he noticed. I mean, maybe we missed it, but I don't think there's any point at which.
Not.
Yeah, at which
I'm not giving this movie any credit.
He saw their powers. Like there's no point at which that happened.
Like he saw Ben and he's big.
Yeah.
And he saw Reed with his stretchy powers.
Yeah.
And he saw Johnny because he flew at him and started shooting him with fire.
Yeah.
But he did not see Sue do anything.
No.
And since he never saw Sue get hit with anything, he should have assumed, hey,
it's like
maybe she didn't get powers
why
either.
Would she have what? Whatever.
The movie stops making sense. Although it's not doing that.
The movie continues to not make sense.
Yeah, there you go.
And so they fly and they're trying to kill him, and then it's like.
Oh, but then you made the point that Reed is standing in the background.
No. The Lipton Peach Ice Tea made the point that they all run off, and then he's like, is he just gonna stand there? And so they all run off. We cut back like 3 minutes after some action has happened, and he's still just standing there. He actually just stood there and watched them all get like beaten senseless by Doom.
Yeah.
He's doing nothing. He's not leading them. He's just like, well, that's Doom. Those are some other guys that I should be helping.
Oh yeah, and then
good stuff.
He has a generic throwaway line where he's like, "Call me Doom" or something.
No, see, I don't even remember.
Something stupid like that.
No.
I just said "fuck you" straight to the screen. I was like, "No, stop."
And then like, so. Need a second to get my brain together.
I don't typically curse in public places, but since we were the only ones in the theater, I felt very justified.
No, and so but then the thing that, and so I'm like, you're pointing out that you're like, why isn't he just blowing their brains up since he can do that?
I kept saying that over and over again.
And so I'm like, okay, well, I assume he's gonna be like, Sue, you should join me.
Yeah, or something.
And Sue says something about how there's some lines similar to that, and Sue's like, I'm fighting you or whatever. I don't know. I don't remember any dialogue from this. And then he just starts
dialogue.
He just starts crushing her. He just starts like crushing. He's like, things could. I imagined a different future for us. Yeah. And he just starts crushing her. It's like, he's obviously going to kill her. Maybe he can't do his brain exploding powers through her force field. But why not kill Johnny and Ben and Reed while he's like? Why not just go ahead and do that?
Yeah.
If that was the only reason he hasn't killed them yet, why not do it now?
Yeah.
There's literally no reason. And then, what is it? Ben punches him.
Or something.
Or Sue Storm makes him invisible, and then makes Ben invisible, and then makes him uninvisible, like 3 seconds before, or like 5 seconds before Ben runs up to him. So he obviously has time to react to this, and then Ben punches him into the hole under his thing.
You're missing the big thing. We skipped Reed's stirring dramatic speech where he's like, "Yeah, he may be powerful than all of us." But not not more powerful than all of us when we're combined as a team.
They have the throwaway, their powers combined.
Oh, I guess he's the leader now.
Yeah, and so, yeah.
Hey, Ben, you still hate him, right? Oh, wait, never mind.
No, he doesn't. Don't worry. He got over that. But people get over their feelings.
But they seemingly murder Doom.
Yeah. He goes into... I forget even how they managed to force him to...
No, he just punches him into the...
Is that all?
I think so.
No, he like knocks him down somewhere or something. I don't know.
My brain kind of phased
Yeah,
out.
I don't remember what happened.
And they teleport out. They teleport back to Earth.
Yeah.
And
there's this huge hole in the ground.
And it's like, look at this awesome destruction. And the score is like, we're heroes. We just saved the day. And it's just...
Because there's no other point for them to look heroic at. Like, they can't look heroic while they're, like, staring up at Doom.
Heroes.
They
they're
can't...
Not
well,
that.
No, not even that. Not even that. There's no environment, no scene in which they can look heroic because they never provide the... They can look heroic in front of, like, mindless gray rock. They can do that. They can look heroic while Doctor Doom disintegrates, which is not very heroic. And then they can come back and at least they put some CGI into the scene, so they might as well film them in front of it, looking heroic. Like, there's no point at which they could have done any better shot. That is the best shot they could come up with to make them look heroic while they have the heroic music playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, so then they get granted a new facility.
This movie has the gall to try and come up with a clever ending.
Yeah.
It has
they get granted a new facility, and they're all standing there staring, and they're like, oh yeah, I claimed that part of the facility, and this is so great, and things are gonna be awesome.
No, after they tell off the government, where they're like, we're not gonna play by your rules.
They literally threaten the government, and it's like, you guys aren't that powerful.
Okay, no. Here's the thing. When people, they make fun of Man of Steel, because Superman's pretty much like, yeah, I'm gonna play by my own rules.
Yeah.
That made a lot more sense than this.
Superman can hold up to like the crap they can do.
Age of Ultron made me have more problems with Man of Steel just because of the destruction and the lack of saving people.
And the way
this made me have less problems for Man of Steel.
You're like, maybe that wasn't so bad actually.
Yeah, but it's like, but you guys aren't. You think? Okay, you clean up your own mess. I'm not giving you a lab, you idiots.
Yeah, like, and then.
Ben, I thought you liked smashing up bad guys and destroying tanks. What's the big deal? Hey, are we gonna go about trying to cure you guys? Oh wait, never mind.
No.
Just no.
That would be too smart. That would make too much sense.
So let me the final scene.
Okay. So the final scene, the final scene. They sit there and they're debating about what to call themselves. And then they just go
because for some reason they're like, we need a clever name for the team because there's 4 of us.
And we need it right now at the end of the plot so that, it'll be great. And they do this little... They go off on this random tangent. They just give up on the name thing and go on this tangent about how, like, their mission, or how it was fighting together or something like that. And then they're like... Ben's like, yeah, it was pretty fantastic. And Reed Richards is like, say that again? Fantastic.
And then you and I were just like, no, they're not going to do that.
And he was like, say that again? No, say that one more time. He's like, it was fantastic. He's like, and I noticed, I knew they were, don't even say anything, I got a rage about this. That I knew they were going to do this a second before it happened.
Feel the anger.
I knew this was going to happen the second before it happened. I was like, no. God dang it, no. They do the thing. So if you haven't seen Age of Ultron, the little spoiler for the ending here. The ending of the movie, Captain America, he's looking at his new Avengers and he calls out and he's like, Avengers! And then it cuts to
before he can say
right
a
before,
symbol.
like he starts to form the word, the A in a symbol, and then it cuts.
Yeah.
And it's kind of clever because it's like, oh, it's continuing on. It's an interesting look.
Very much a Joss Whedon.
Because it would have been, it's like Joss Whedon saying, yeah, if we just gave it to you, it would be too. We got to use it in battle.
That would be too dumb.
It would be too easy and too cartoony.
Yeah.
We gotta save that for later. And so and it's I actually really like that ending. I think it's really clever. So in this one, he's like, guys, I've got it. And I forget exactly how it cuts, but he's like...
He's about to say, fan.
Yeah, he's like, guys, I've got it. And then it cuts.
And then it has the Nolan style, oh, we couldn't put the Fantastic Four thing at the beginning, so we're going to put it at the end.
I'm like... No, because they stole that. Yeah. You can't convince me otherwise. They totally saw Age of Ultron, went into while they were doing production on this, and they were like, okay, we'll do it like that. And they stole it. They blatantly you cannot convince me that they did not just steal that right out of Age of Ultron. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous and kind of sad.
Yes, it's very sad. Like, what?
Like, I told you, the only thing that would have made it worse is if they say that and then it plays the Days of Future Past. Dun, 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 dun,
They also made the F at the beginning.
Oh my god, I pointed that out because I heard that from other reviews right at the beginning with the 20th Century Fox logo. For a lot of the X-Men movies, they have the X stay highlighted for like a second.
After the rest of the screen goes to black.
After everything fades.
Yeah.
For this, they did it with the F, and I was like, oh god, they think this is as good as Days of Future Past.
Okay, so I think that right there just summarizes all of the movie.
I think that gives you a pretty good idea of our problems with the movie.
I think we've just covered everything. There's many more things we could point out. We will we'll do a commentary eventually. But right now, that's what we got.
That's gonna be. I am looking forward to
me
that.
Me too. So that's that. That's the
over an hour just talking about the movie's plots.
So we probably do want to hold off, or not hold off, but try and keep it a little fast here for the second part, which is going to deal more with the little behind the scenes problems. But we kind of have a debate going, sort of. I have not seen Chronicle.
I'm kind of bending more to your side.
I have not seen Chronicle yet, but from the beginning, I did not get a good vibe about Josh Trank. I don't know why. Just the way that the people were talking about him and stuff like that.
All the stories, the behind the scenes stuff. Like
before we knew that this was a hot mess, before it got a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
You know, we were
hearing he was having a lot of problems and disagreements with the studio, and apparently he trashed his apartment. There's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, he like trashed and defaced the landlord's property.
He would stay isolated on set.
Yeah, he like made a tent for him to stay isolated. Basically, lots of weird stuff going on. He obviously was cracking hardcore.
Yeah,
and I don't want to. I mean, I can't put this on Josh Trank, and I can't put.
Okay. Let's go ahead and say. Not all of this is fact.
No.
A lot of this is our personal speculation on what we think happened.
Yeah.
And of course, all the facts are not out at the time of this video's release.
Yeah, I'm sure more will keep. This is the gift that keeps on giving. It's gonna. More news is gonna be coming out of this. Somebody needs to make a documentary at some point.
Okay, John Schnepp just released that documentary about the Nicolas Cage movie Superman Lives. What happened?
Yeah. I
want to see that documentary, and then I want someone else to make that kind of documentary for this. But this was actually made.
Yeah. Even
so, I feel like there's a lot of behind-the-scenes footage I think they could find.
Yeah.
Fox.
There's got to be.
There's got to be like high bad. Keep it in archives.
There's got to be like 20 different cuts you could make out of this movie.
Yeah.
There has to be. Like, there's got to be so much footage that they just didn't know how to string it together at all. But yeah. Because originally people were saying, like, you know Josh Trank on, he's like, oh yeah, my original
tweet, the infamous tweet,
which started kind of all of this backlash, where it was like first the movie came out and it was
came out like 2 days before the movie was supposed to be released.
Yeah, but first all the reviews came out and they were like, this movie sucks.
No, people broke the embargo.
Yeah,
The critic embargo said do not release reviews until the day of, which is never a good sign.
Yeah.
That has never happened where that has been good for a movie. Most of the time they do that with like shitty horror movies or comedies. Where it's like do not release reviews because they're terrible. Because
it's gonna kill the money or kill any profit.
And we're just there to make money opening weekend and then we're done.
Yeah.
Just let us do that.
Yeah. But apparently they cared too much about this. They didn't want to see this movie make money.
So a lot of people broke the embargo, and that just released the floodgates.
Yeah, and so everybody started releasing stuff. And then Josh Trank tweeted, he was like, my original cut a year ago would have been made...
He doesn't say cut. He said the idea I had a year ago would have made a much better movie that would have been a lot more liked by critics.
Yeah.
But you'll probably never see that anyway. Oh, well, that's life.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much what he said.
Yeah, and so it's like...
It's not exactly what he said. I'm just summarizing it.
However... There was another email or something. What was the email? What was the email that got released recently where it was like Josh Trank was like, "This movie is better than 99% of comic book movies."
He emailed like his cast and crew saying that,
and that was like a few weeks before it came out or something like that. And somebody else, apparently one of the cast members, was like, "I don't think so."
Yeah, they emailed them right back. I think that was either Kate Mara or Michael B. Jordan.
Probably. That would make sense.
It would make sense to be Michael B. Jordan because he worked with him before.
Yeah, so he'd feel a little more... Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, obviously that's not how he felt.
That'd be great if it was like, I don't know, like one of the kids who play like young Creed. Like, this movie sucks, but we were playing.
No, we can't produce their.
We were in the best part of the movie. Get the fuck out.
We can't produce their emails because they were much more vulgar. But yeah, like obviously that's not how he felt a few weeks ago. That was he was distancing himself from the movie because people were saying it was crap, and he wanted to not be associated with it because it was crap.
He's pretty much disowned it.
Well, he disowned it, but obviously he didn't feel like that until he saw the reviews, and then he was like, "Never mind, this isn't mine. Get it away from me."
Much like David Fincher did with Alien 3, although
different,
a little bit different.
Yeah,
because David Fincher actually kept a cool head and didn't lose his shit.
Yes, which is the thing. I think there's some. First of all, I think Fox should never have hired him for this. I don't think Fox should have been like, "We want to create a new property for our superhero line." Superhero movies are some of the biggest if not the biggest movies coming out these days.
The modern equivalent of the Western back in like the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, superhero movies are the stuff right now.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to start a new franchise based off this guy's vision after seeing one movie.
And a viral video.
I don't even know about the viral video. You told me a little about it. But after seeing...
It's like a Star Wars viral video involving a wedding, I think.
He made one successful movie with pretty good reviews. And after that,
with a very low budget and little control from the studio.
Yeah, and based almost independent.
Yeah.
Like, then they were like, okay, now we want you to direct the biggest, or like what we want to be the next Avengers. We want you to direct this thing that'll combine into our X-Men universe, and it's going to create our big cinematic superhero universe. And they gave it to this guy who had one movie under his belt, had never dealt with studio interference.
Yeah.
Fox should never have given him.
And at the beginning, they didn't give him like anyone from the X-Men people. Like I know they added Simon Kinberg, but that was later in the process.
Yes. But apparently what happened was, as far as I can tell, originally Fox.
Once again, speculation. This is not.
Yes.
Not,
from
not
what we've heard, from rumors. Originally Fox put a lot of restrictions on him, and originally Fox put a lot of restrictions that held back from his initial vision.
Took out like 3 major.
Yeah, took out a bunch of stuff from planning a few days before they started shooting.
Which is actually kind of annoying because the movie really does lack action.
Yeah.
It's like I could have done with some more action sequences. I know that is nothing compared to.
But apparently, see, and I'm trying to figure out the timeline here because I'm trying to figure out if they did that early on or if they did that a lot later.
I think that was right before production. I think that's what they said.
Okay.
Like a few weeks before production started.
Okay. Because. From what I've heard kind of two sides of the story that might be the same story where it was a lot of people are saying that Fox didn't really interfere with him a whole lot early on.
Yeah.
But as it got farther along, they were like, "This is not good." They were like, "We want to be on board with you. We want to try and give you this chance, but this is not going well." And so they start like pushing him and putting all these restrictions on everything. And I can't tell if they from the stories if they already started doing that before, like if that was a response or if it was this vicious cycle where they started restricting him and then he started making a worse movie and cracking under pressure and they started restricting.
I think it was that. I think it was kept compounding.
I think initially he had a lot of pressure, so he was obsessing over making the movie perfect.
Yeah.
And I think Fox initially put a lot of pressure on him and gave him a lot of restrictions because they wanted to make sure this was great. And I think the two of those combined. So that farther down the line, they were like, "We don't like where this movie is going. You have to do this and this and this, and we have to change more." And then he started cracking more. And I think just throughout that, it was just this back and forth process. So by the end, he had just snapped, and Fox had to basically recreate a movie.
Yeah, or recreate like a final act of the movie.
Yeah. Because apparently, when he finished filming, there was not a final act.
End.
Yeah,
there was no end. So they had to get Simon Kinberg kind of had to scramble with a bunch of people, and they had to kind of throw together the ending, which is why it feels so thrown together.
Yeah.
See, I don't want to completely go with that version of the story because is it Fox saw the initial stuff like when they first started shooting it like, oh, it's bad, we need to start putting in control, or were they getting cold feet because he was actually doing something ambitious that was different from typical
that's the thing.
movies?
I don't think, from what I've seen in this movie, I don't think you could salvage. I don't think his original vision, if he had just been given free reign, I do not think he could have come up with a great movie.
I want the original script.
I do want the original script.
I want that.
I do think he could have come up with a decent movie.
I want both the original script before Fox started putting in changes, and I want his cut of the movie.
Yeah.
With all the footage available, I want Josh Trank's cut of the movie.
Yeah.
Which
may be impossible because they may have to like reshoot everything in order to do that. I don't know. But I feel like with the ideas running through this, you could have made a decent movie.
Yeah. Because how long's the movie? Like 90 minutes, 100 minutes, something like that. His plan was 2.5 to 3 hours. Mm-hmm. Like that was his idea of the movie, and it's clear that they cut a lot of stuff out. You can watch the trailer, and there's a lot of stuff out. Yeah. Cut out. Like there's a scene where Reed's on his laptop, and they're asking him how far out is the thing. And he's like, 2 minutes. And then they have the thing dive bomb and attack.
And I think that came in originally in the 1 year later. That almost absolutely did. That was probably in there when they were originally developing the team and like working together, and that was development there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Which almost makes me think that him like escaping the facility was completely made up for the reshoots. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know.
I think that feels like it. Yeah.
Not necessarily, but we don't know. We just don't know. We don't know the specifics. But apparently stuff like Reed and Sue having a relationship that would grow, completely cut from the movie. Ben having an abusive household, that's mentioned briefly at the beginning and then never comes up again. There's, like I said, so many setups.
The only thing they pay off well is that scene between Reed and Sue at the beginning where Sue has music and is like, there are patterns of music and I love to listen to it or whatever and it helps me think. And where Reed talks about how he loves Captain Nemo. And then Sue asks for some headphones so she can listen to music.
While trying to track him down.
And Reed, for some reason, puts his name as Captain Nemo. Or it's not exactly Captain Nemo, it's spelled like Captain Nemo with some letters and numbers and stuff. And on his like IP or something like that. Even though he obviously doesn't want Sue to find him. And that's the only thing they pay off.
It's so dumb. I remember we were all just looking at each other like, that's the one thing they call back?
Exactly.
That's the one
thing
they
callback.
Call back?
Yeah. That kind of sums up the whole movie. It's just a mess. They don't know.
I know right now when we're saying it, we sound like really frustrated and like furious at the movie. When we were watching this, we were laughing our asses off at how dumb it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we had a good time.
It's crazy. It's crazy that they put this out there. It's crazy they didn't scrap this somewhere along the way.
This is a movie that should have never been in theaters.
Yeah. I think it's probably mostly because they were like, well, we already put money into it. We gotta go on them with it and put it out, which is a bad logical decision anyway. Because it's like, well, if you go ahead and put it out, you might make some money off of it, but you're also going to get a lot a press because it's going to suck.
Yeah.
And you're going to get all this news about it to come out because people are
going to destroy the franchise, which
ditto.
People
are going to start digging into it. Marvel has got to get Fantastic Four back after this. I cannot see how they won't. I can't see how they can't. Like there have been some talk about how they're probably going to need Marvel's permission to do an X-Men TV show.
I believe legally that's yeah.
Which that right there is a great bargaining chip. Marvel can be like, hey, feel free, give us FF rights, and you're good to go.
That makes sense. But also there have been articles saying Fox is still trying to press forward with a sequel,
which is not going to happen. I already don't believe that.
They also said there was going to be an Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Sony was obsessed with Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Sinister Six, Venom. They had a whole cinematic universe planned.
Sony was obsessed with that up until the day, like, the negotiations broke. Like, that was the story from Sony until the day that they were like, alright, we're working with Marvel.
Yeah.
That was their story up until that exact point.
Yep.
So, I don't believe that for a second. They're not going to make another movie out of this. They're not going to salvage it.
Are they going to reboot it again?
I don't think...
Watch it make $2 million opening weekend.
Oh, God.
The Roger Corman movie. They may as well just re-release the Roger Corman movie. It would make more money.
Probably. You could argue, you could be like, oh, well, they did the same thing with X-Men where they seemingly ruined it with Last Stand and Origins. When did Origins come out before First Class? Like, was that between Last Stand and First Class?
Yes.
Okay. So, like, I mean, obviously it's like...
Okay, as much as I love to shit on X-Men 3, and I love to do that, and how bad Origins is, it's bad.
Uh-huh.
They are...
Nothing.
Masterpieces compared to this.
Yeah.
At least they're coherent.
Yeah.
I may have problems with them, but I can follow along
and
not constantly question, wait, what?
yeah, exactly. See, and that's what I was about to say is, they screwed up with those 2 movies, and you might argue, well, then they continued on.
But there was still potential.
Yeah, you could be like, I'm sure the argument could be like, well, they pressed on with that, so why won't they press on with this, and instead of letting it go back to Marvel? The thing is, the X-Men universe is very large. You can do as many stories as you want in there. What did they do immediately after Origins just flopped completely? They went back to the beginning.
Yeah.
They said, screw it. They kicked out all the old cast, threw in a new cast, made a new movie separate. Like, it was a reboot, basically. A reboot in the same universe. And even though that
they went halvesies, and I have problems with that.
But still,
it's a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
And that worked. They scrapped it all. They went back. They continue with the franchise so that people didn't feel like they'd wasted the first. It's actually, I think, a really brilliant move.
Yeah.
To go back and do First Class and then Days of Future Past, because they didn't just scrap all this stuff that people had invested in. They were like, all right, a lot of it still happened, but now there's a new timeline.
Yeah.
So you need to see the old stuff to understand the new stuff, but the new stuff's going to be good and on its own.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
And they'd already made 2 very successful movies for superhero movies that basically kickstarted the superhero movie genre, like being like a really popular thing. And X-Men 1 and 2.
One more thing. X-Men's been a proven successful franchise.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four has not.
Yeah. Nobody has ever made a good Fantastic Four movie.
The Chris Evans, Jessica Alba ones, they did fine at the box office. They did fine.
Yeah.
Nothing spectacular. But critically, they've been paying.
Yeah. With X-Men, it wasn't there like older X-Men TV shows and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's ever been an
animated show in the 90s.
I don't think there's ever been an animated, and obviously they are Marvel's most popular characters, or were at the time at least.
Yeah.
In the
90s, yeah.
Yeah, they were Marvel's most popular characters by far in the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been a Fantastic Four animated show. I could be wrong about that.
There were a couple. There's a reason you don't know about
Exactly. So, I can't see them possibly having the confidence to press forward with this. I just don't see how. I don't see how they could possibly be like, we can save this.
But my one problem is this is where people start saying you cannot do a Fantastic Four movie well. And I just don't believe that at all.
No, you can. You absolutely can.
Now, let's compare two Marvel-related movies that came out this year. You got Ant-Man and you got Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. Both are inherently goofy and really dumb concepts.
Both had very, very troubled production.
Yeah, that's true. But Ant-Man knows it's dumb. It knows it's a goofy, out there comic book sci-fi thing, and it embraces that.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, we need to be dark and gritty because...
Dark and gritty.
Because that'll sell
Which
toys.
is what I absolutely hate. The only thing that I absolutely hate about the Nolan movies. They are great. I love the Nolan versus Batman trilogy. However, they made everybody think that the key to a good superhero movie, or they made Warner Brothers and apparently Fox, think that the key to a good superhero movie is dark and gritty. That's not the key to a good superhero movie. That is the tone in which you can set a good superhero movie. That is one possible tone.
But here's the reason why it works. We're dealing with a character who is regularly shown to be dark and gritty.
And not only that, we're dealing with a character who, in this version of the character, is completely realistic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some sci-fi. There's sci-fi elements, obviously.
They treat the character like he's a real human being.
This could be our world, supposedly. I mean, there's stuff in Batman Begins that goes off that a little bit, but
Dark Knight Rises.
This is supposed to be our world.
Yeah.
So you can play it dark and gritty because it's supposed to feel like Batman Year One.
Yeah.
It's supposed to feel like, this is a character that exists, that could really exist. There's no reason why he can't.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four is not. There is no reason Fantastic Four can exist as far as we know based on current science.
Which is why I'm so baffled that they make the Star Trek reference at the beginning of the movie. It's like, are you saying like it's supposed to kind of be in that vein? Because Fantastic Four is like goofy out there sci-fi.
Yeah, and Ant-Man did it really well where they like just kind of ran with it. Like they put in the sci-fi stuff, but it wasn't like that was the cornerstone of the movie. It was like this is the way science works here. This is the way science is going to work in our movie.
But the reason the movie works is the characters.
Because they focus on the plot. They're just like, this is the science behind it. It works. Just gotta accept it. Sorry.
Yeah.
We can't figure it out. The reason, we don't have this technology in real life. Obviously, you can't. We have no way of actually explaining it.
We're dealing with super geniuses.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And this movie says, hey, we're dealing with super geniuses. but we're gonna blow people's heads up because that'll sell toys.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Please tell me there was not a Happy Meal line to this.
I don't think there was.
Okay.
No. There's no way. Okay. I think we're wrapping it up here, but basically the point is,
I suppose this would be where I would ask. So, what do we see as the future for the Fantastic Four property? I think you've already given your answer.
Oh yeah, I think it's going back to Marvel. I think Marvel will use their.
How long do you think it'll take?
2 years.
2 years, okay. Because it took what, like.
It's 7 years for the rights to go down.
No, but it took like half a year for Spider-Man to that to be.
But
settled.
I think Fox is much more stubborn than Sony.
Oh yeah, especially because Marvel's been like shutting down all their Fantastic Four stuff in the comics and stuff.
And I don't think that it's necessarily going to take 2 years, but I know within 2 years it will be back at Marvel. I can say that almost 100%. I just don't see what I'm seriously that convinced that this has screwed, because what I think it's going to be Fox's mentality is, okay, Fantastic Four screwed up. Nobody's ever going to like them again. This movie's it's impossible to make a good movie out of them. We're never going to be able to make any money off of them.
Yeah.
Then they're going to think, we want to make this X-Men show. We make money off the X-Men. We're going to make more X-Men movies. We're going to X-Men everything. It's going to be great. We're going to make this huge cinematic universe for the X-Men.
Everyone gets X-Men.
Yeah, we're going to ignore the Fantastic Four. We're going to focus on X-Men.
Yeah. We
want to make an X-Men TV show. Okay, well, let's see how we can get the rights to Marvel to that. Well, we've got this property sitting there. Everybody hates it. It's never going to make a good movie. It's not going to be any good to them because everybody hates it.
Yeah.
We're going to throw it in there. We're gonna trade. I mean, I don't think it's going to be exactly a one-for-one thing about the X-Men TV show. I don't even know if that's true about the rumors that they need the rights for the X-Men TV show. I don't know what the deal is.
I believe that is true.
All I'm saying is I think Marvel's going to be willing to pay a lot because they know they can do a lot with the characters associated with the Fantastic Four property. So they're going to pay.
Specifically Silver Surfer and Galactus.
Yes.
Those are the big ones. All the Marvel fanboys are like, we need those back.
And those are the things that I think Marvel is thinking about. And I think they're thinking, we can make this work because we buy into the comics, which is my biggest thing about comic book movies. I love it when they actually trust the comics to make the characters right. This is my big problem with the DC universe. I'm liking so far what I see of it, but it does feel like a lot of the time they're trying to be like, no, we're not the comics. The comic, which, to be fair, and a little tangent here, to be fair, that's also kind of how I feel about the New 52, is that it's kind of like, we're not those old crappy,
isn't that what everyone's saying?
Funny
isn't
books.
Like a universal opinion.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know much about the New 52.
A lot of people bash New 52, except for like.
I know a lot
Batman.
of people bash it, but I'm saying like I feel like that's kind of the same thing they did, where they're like DC's trying to be like, no, we're grown up and mature comics, and we don't need the crazy sci-fi elements that are all funny and goofy, and we're very hardcore, big gods battling it out.
Yeah.
I love it when they're just like, yeah, it's a comic book. It's a little goofy. We got humor. I do think Marvel needs to get a little darker. Age of Ultron was the darkest so far, but I think they need to continue to push that. However,
I'm fine with the balance Age of Ultron had, personally.
I think it could be a little bit darker.
Especially when you have stuff like Daredevil, which balances.
That's true. Daredevil
knows how to be dark and how to be effective while doing so.
Daredevil. We both love Daredevil. We reviewed that at some point, didn't we?
Yes.
Daredevil
gushed all over.
Daredevil just killed it. They did everything that I think that every other comic book creator is trying to do. They were like, you want dark and gritty? We'll make a great TV show, and we'll just happen to make it dark and gritty. And they did it, and it's great.
Dark and gritty is not the reason it's great. It helps. It creates an excellent atmosphere, but that's not the reason it's good.
Yeah, exactly. They decided they were going to do dark and gritty, and they were like, all right, so put a pin in that, dark and gritty. And that's what we're going to do. Now, let's make a good show.
Yeah.
And which is the thing I'm thinking about, is the fact that it feels like Marvel looks at their comic books and they're like, this is good stuff. Mm-hmm. We're going to do it. We're going to make this comic come to life on the screen. We're changing some things, because, I mean, we get it. We need to make money. We need to make sure that a lot of people... We want to make this more people... get accessible.
Yeah.
The comics. But I mean, if there was a talking raccoon, a tree, and freaking green person, and like all these wacky characters in it on the same team, and they're
the guy who takes everything literally,
and they're off adventuring through the universe. Screw it, we'll put it on a screen. We'll make it work. We'll make it happen.
We'll make all the money.
It was a popular comic. It was a comic people liked. We'll put it on the screen and see if people like it in real life.
And they did.
And they did. They loved it.
Because they thought about it. What did they do with Fantastic Four? They shoved it down our throats.
Pretty
and
much.
We spat it back out.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what it feels like. Is that Fantastic Four is the epitome of comics that only work if you buy into the comic.
You have to buy into the concept of how goofy it is.
You cannot make a Fantastic Four movie that deviates at all from the source material of a goofy book or comic book with heart. Which I think the original Fantastic Four movies got the goofy. I don't know so much about the heart.
I think it could have been good. I actually kind of like the tone.
See, well, but that's what I'm saying. But that's... it never would have pleased.
Oh yeah.
Comic fans.
Comic fans, yeah.
And but the thing is, it's two things. It's never would have pleased comic fans, and it never would have been easy. The easiest way to write a Fantastic Four movie is exactly the way that they come out in the 60s. You just update the technology, you make it less dumb.
Yeah. That's
what you do for the Fantastic Four, and I think it's going to go back to Marvel.
Joss Whedon should have made a Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, he'd be great at it. He'd knock it out of the park, I can guarantee you.
I want that now.
Yeah. No, they'll
make all the money.
Yeah. No, I can guarantee you if it's going to go back to Marvel at some point soon. Marvel is going to be like, hey, here's a bunch of money for it, and they're like, well, that's more money than we'll ever make. We'll take it, and then like they'll give them like $1 billion maybe something like that, 500 million. I don't know.
Hey guys, we'll reimburse you on that. How much money you lost.
Plus some extra. And they're going to be like, that's more money than we're ever going to make on this. You're never going to make any money on this because it sucks, and obviously they're going to assume that since they can't do it, nobody can do it. I have a very cynical view of movie studios, at least the guys at Fox, by the way.
Okay.
But
Alien 3, Daredevil, X-Men Origins, you better believe I am cynical of Fox right now.
Yeah, they have such a long history of studio interference and stuff like that. And I am sure
even X-Men 3
that they believe if they can't make it work, that nobody's going to make it work. And they might try and keep it out of the hands of Marvel because they don't want the competition. But I think at this point they're going to be like, well, that's it. We can't. It can't be done. They might as well have it back, and so that we can get a bunch of stuff for free because they're never going to make anything of it.
Yeah.
Then, if that happens within the next few years, Marvel's probably got a contingency plan, probably exactly the same thing they did with Spider-Man, where they're going to, if they get those rights back soon, they're going to immediately flip Silver Surfer and Galactus right into their movies, probably before Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
I honestly think they probably have that plan set in place just in case they ever get that, because
that's alternate scripts or something. Yeah.
The moment Spider-Man came back to Marvel, they updated their timeline.
Yeah.
It was like that. It took seconds. They had it in like the next day or something like that. They were like, yeah, here's our new lineup. And I know for a fact they've planned for that. They've got a plan for if they ever get the Fantastic Four rights back.
I'm sure they've got a plan for if they get X-Men back, theoretically.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. They just, because they're good businessmen, they care about the characters.
Obviously, odds are that won't happen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying is...
Which I actually don't want that to happen.
I don't know. I think they're introducing too many characters that they would introduce. First of all, they wouldn't reintroduce the Fantastic Four because they want to distance themselves a little bit. And secondly, because they were already introducing so many new characters. But I do think they've got a script ready that includes at least Silver Surfer, if not Galactus as well. Maybe some of the other aspects like the Skrulls, maybe, or something like that. Although I think they can already use those, but like Super Skrull, maybe, I don't know. They've got plans for this. I guarantee it. And if it flips back soon enough, they'll probably put him right back in. And if not, what? You look like you have a thought real quick.
Oh, I just thought like once they're done with Thanos and the Infinity War stuff is over. Wouldn't it be awesome if the next big bad they build up to is Galactus?
That's what I was actually about to think. That's why, if Galactus doesn't show up now, he's going to show up then.
Then you have Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four. They're kind of like the new wave of heroes that lead into like this new phase of Marvel.
Yeah.
I know they'll technically be like phase 4 or 5 or whatever.
But I'm sure it'll be like a new set.
Like we're done with the old Avengers. We're here with the new people now.
Yeah. I'm sure they're going to do something like that. I'm sure they got whatever it is. They've got plans for it, and they're going to use it to their advantage. And they probably at this point expect to get the Fantastic Four back soon, because I'm sure that they know exactly what they're going to do to make the Fantastic Four work. They're going to make it stick to the characters. They're going to make it all about the characters, and I would hope personally that the way they would start it is like in the middle of like the whatever sort of emergency they decide to go with for how the Fantastic Four get their powers. Mm-hmm. I think that would be a good starting point because we don't need to spend so much time on
have it be like right when they crash land back on Earth.
Yeah, something like that, where they can talk about it later, and also throwing Doom out of it and making Doom actually accurate to the comics. Basically, I know Marvel. I know we're gushing over Marvel here, but there's a reason for that. We both really appreciate what Marvel Studios is doing with their comic book films. And
like them or hate them, they're being thoughtful about what actions they're taking. They're not just doing whatever
to make money. They want to. They are the only people so far to actually.
Let me ask. Money is the biggest, most important thing for
they are
making, at the end of the day.
They are doing an unprecedented experiment in trying to build this universe towards a central plot line. Nobody has ever attempted anything like this in film.
Nope.
This has never happened before.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the Universal monster movies back in like the 30s and 40s, that might come close.
Did they actually build towards a plot line?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But I think there might have been cross. I'm not sure.
No, I'm talking about like, but again, I'm assuming with those movies it was like, we're gonna make another movie and we can have this guy crossover.
Yeah.
This is like they have planned from the beginning to create characters, introduce them, bring them together, have a central plot line going forward while allowing them to
do their own thing.
Go be independent as well as converging. Nobody has ever done this where it's building towards the central plot line of like the main big bad villain. Nobody's ever done anything like that. That is why they're succeeding right now. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're going to do after that. I don't know if they're going to be able to come off of the Infinity Saga with, guns blazing, ready to go again. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I do know we're probably going to love everything that happens up to Infinity Saga, and the general public is going to buy into it up until then.
What if it sucks?
I don't think it will.
I'm going to be laughing at you.
I really don't think it will. I don't think it can at this point.
I'm going to be laughing
I think they know what they're doing at this point until then.
I'm going to be crying from
the
depression I'll be in for years.
That's what I'm saying is, I don't think they're going to screw this up. I don't think they can.
You had me invest in all this time for this?
That's true. That's very true. It would be very sad, but I trust them not to screw it up.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, I think that in the end, they're going to get the Fantastic Four back, and they will probably do it right, and they'll know how to do it right. Mm-hmm. And Fox does not. Fox will never get it right. Fox is what I think of when I think of the typical movie studio heads who are the reasons that you get things like retaking a selfie with the teleporter. Because they're like, oh, these are teenagers. Teenagers love selfies. Teenagers love Instagram. We're going to throw that in our movie because that's going to appeal to kids.
One thing Johnny says when they go?
Yes.
It's like, oh, this is so going on Snapchat.
And no, that is what I think of every time. Fox is what I think of, like the epitome of. Well, Fox and Sony a little bit are the epitome to me of studio heads that are so out of touch with what actual people like to watch.
Yeah, and the reasons that comic book people enjoy these properties. Mm-hmm.
And also, there's a whole other deal about. I could go on a whole other rant for like half an hour about.
Let's not do that.
About the way studio people need to approach teenage audiences.
We're already going on much longer.
Yeah,
than I thought.
that's off for that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, maybe we'll say that. I suppose this goes without saying. We're just wrapping this up here. What grade would you give Fantastic Four? Okay. Yeah, F.
I'm not even going to go with the funny F and give it the FF or anything. Like, I'm not going to do
a
double
F. FF. All right, I give it an FF. Double F. F squared.
No, I'm F.
Up the ass.
F. Yes. F. That's it. F.
Okay.
We explained in what situation we recommend it.
Yes, unlike most people, we thought it was so bad it was good.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of just making fun of stuff.
I know.
The best I can compare it to is the Red Letter Media Show. I know I do a lot of the time. I put
reference Red Letter
Media plugs, but I love.
We are big fans.
But they have a show called Best of the Worst, and they just watch terrible movies, and there's footage, and they shoot themselves just making fun of the movies, and then they discuss them. This is pretty. I feel like we just did a Best of the Worst episode.
A little bit, yeah. No, it was a lot of fun to watch. It's a terrible movie.
Which is funny because they actually talked about the Roger Corman movie and how much they like it. They like the movie a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because, hey, people cared and they tried. Low budget, but they tried, okay?
Yep. No, I agree. I don't really know what else to say after that, but I think we've just about thrown it all out there.
I'm tired.
Me too.
I'm gonna take a nap.
Me too. Yeah.
You wanna go watch a 3-hour movie?
No.
Sounds good to me. Let's go. All right. All right,
Anyway,
everybody. Are we done?
Yeah.
Are we done?
I think we're done.
All right. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you managed to stick around for the near hour and 45-minute podcast discussion, analysis, what have you, thank you for watching.
Thank you very much for sticking with us. We had a lot of fun talking about this, and
well, did we really?
I think we did. I did.
I was frustrated.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But they're not mutually exclusive.
This is
Thanks for sticking around. Hope you really enjoyed our thoughts on it. Hope it's giving you some more insight into the way it worked and the way it came together.
This is a movie that deserves to be illegally downloaded.
Yeah, this is true.
If you
Not that we recommend pirating, but go pirate it.
All right, everybody. We'll see.
And that's the note we end on.
All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. It's
pleasant surprise.
Which is it's kind of a statement to what's going on, because you can tell that they're attempting to do something with it. They're not just sitting there like throwing stuff up on a screen and saying
they had an initial idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is they have the initial idea, and as the movie goes on, they just go more and more off the rails as far as how much they actually like are sticking to this. But there's all
so.
It's like as they're just crashing and burning, they're always staring up at like this initial idea, like yeah, we can do that still. Like as they're just falling into this pit of like despair. There's
like at every point in the movie, they're like, we can still aspire to greatness.
Yeah,
and it's like they just keep falling.
They never
They
never stop trying to do it in the feel of like the way they're trying to produce it. They never stop trying to make it awesome, even as it's just horrible.
There's not like a Spider-Man 3 moment where Peter Parker's dancing where it's like, okay, nobody cared anymore.
Yeah.
There's not that moment. It's clear. It's like somebody's putting effort into this.
It's like somebody wants to make this work somehow.
Yeah.
No. Which is what makes it so good, is that it's not just some dull thing where it's like it's lifeless, and they're trying to do what they can to save this in some way.
Let's just take the movie on its own terms first.
Okay.
And then we'll get to all the Josh Trank Fox. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let's start with the movie on its own terms.
Mm-hmm. The movie on its own terms. Subtitle.
Where do we start?
I mean, I'd say just straight from the beginning, because I think we can probably think of a few points along the way.
The opening was fine.
Yeah,
like all the flashback stuff with Ben and Reed as kids.
Which, I mean, there was the clobber in time thing. That annoyed me a little. Where his older brother was hitting... Yeah, Ben's older brother was hitting him and said, it's clobber in time.
And apparently there's
which actually... It annoys me, but it doesn't. In some ways, it could have ended up paying off really well.
I know. I would have been fine if that was the reference, like his brother says that, and then Ben never says that.
Well, that would
have been fine as a reference, not as a.
I don't know.
I
have mixed feelings about it, because on the one hand, it's like, okay, so that would explain where he just comes up with this strange,
really dumb line.
Yeah, strange line. But on the other hand, you're suggesting that he uses that line because he's picturing himself as his abusive brother or something like that. So I don't know. That's a weird line. That was the first thing where I was like,
And apparently there was a subplot with more of that stuff that's completely cut out of the movie.
Something about his brothers or his family abusing him, something like that. Let's see, what would be the next stop?
Well, the main thing that bothered me was the way the teacher was reacting
to
Reed.
Yeah.
Homer Simpson. The guy
that
voices Homer Simpson. I just know that off the top of my head.
But the very first scene, they're doing like these. It's a very cliche scene. It's very, very cliche actually, and to the point that it doesn't make sense, because the kid is up doing his report in the front of the class while Reed Richards is writing on his notes, and then the teacher's like, "All right, Reed, go do your presentation," and Reed just ignores him and keeps writing on his notes. He's like, "Do your presentation," and they do that like 2 or 3 times, and then all the kids start laughing at him because somebody makes a joke about him, like Earth to Reed or something like that. And he looks up.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah. And he looks up and he's like, "Oh," and the teacher's like, "Go do your presentation." And he gets up.
Question first. It says it's set in 2007. What kid in elementary school would be making a Star Trek reference?
Oh, you're so right. You're so right.
This is before the Star Trek reboot came out, mind you.
Wait, so does the movie take place in 2007 or does
No. That
when
they're
scene.
Kids, but I think the future stuff is supposed to be present day.
Okay, so that scene is 2000. That is hilarious. You're totally right. That doesn't make any sense.
What kid would be
is watching these like old, just
hard
sci-fi. I don't know.
Is it because Fantastic Four is supposed to be hard sci-fi?
Not in this movie. So anyway, so he walks up to the front of the class and he starts giving this presentation, and it's this fifth grader, and he's talking about quantum physics and crap, and he's just going into and talking about biomatter and all that.
Okay, for a fifth grader, he's getting pretty hardcore into the details.
Yes, and the teacher's like, "This is all fantasy. Sit down. That's ridiculous. You were supposed to write about a real career."
No.
If I had been that teacher,
hold on. Didn't the kid before him say, "I wanted to be like a football player or an athlete or something"? It's like, let's not squash that kid's dreams. But he's like, I want to be in science. I want to do scientific stuff. I want to make this big discovery. No, you're an idiot. Don't do it.
Just the fact that he's saying, we'll get back to the next point in this little timeline in just a second. Back to back here.
It doesn't get any smarter, folks.
No.
This is the smartest the movie gets.
But the fact that if any teacher was just sitting in his fifth grade class and he's just sitting there bored out of his mind by all these kids talking about, wanting to be a football player, an astronaut, and all this stuff. And then this kid walks up and he's like, yeah, here's what I know about quantum physics and how I'm developing some way to do a teleport. And I know they talk about a little bit how this kid, or how Reed has always had crazy ideas. They mentioned something about a flying car and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I kind of get that.
Like, I gave up on that project.
Yeah, but he's still like, this kid is talking about things that he should not know about at fifth grade. It's okay if he does that in the movie, but they should not react like, oh, that's stupid, go sit down, you're an idiot, kid. They should be like, what the crap is this kid talking about? I'm gonna go see if I can, if any scientist, I'm gonna send him somewhere to,
get an interview or something.
Get an interview or scholarship or something. This kid is obviously not supposed to be in, a public elementary school.
Yeah.
That bothered me right up there. That really, I was like, are you serious? And that's a cliche I'm talking about, where it's like, oh, the kid has big dreams, but the class laughs him down.
And he needs to be an outsider.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say, for anyone who hasn't seen the movie and doesn't really care about spoilers and just wants us to spoil the whole thing, there's no character arcs for anyone.
No, not really, no.
He starts off as an outsider, and then he somehow becomes leader of the team at the end.
Yeah.
There is no
There's no transition.
Whatsoever.
He's an outsider up until a certain point in the movie, which we will, again, get to, and then he's not. Then he kind of takes charge of the team for no reason. Yeah, exactly.
It's baffling.
The team just starts trusting him.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we're friends now. We're the Fant4stic. Oh wait, no.
We'll get to that. Ben hears him talking. He's like, wow, that's interesting. And then it cuts to Reed's trying to steal
from his junkyard, which is already very convenient.
I'm fine with that.
The fact that you get kind of a small town feel from it makes me more or less okay with that. But
see, the opening, I told you this in the theater for the first 15 minutes. It felt like Super 8.
Yeah, I agree. It's very Super 8-ish.
There were very distinct tone shifts. I'm like, we're watching a different movie right now. And we'll get to the last 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So anyway, so we're moving right along.
But Ben finds Reed trying to steal his parts, and they're like, I'll help you. We'll be best friends.
Yeah.
And then they try and build the teleporter thing, and
he swaps it out with rocks, which doesn't really make sense because that's not how the teleporter works later on, but whatever, it's a prototype and it messed up or something like that.
See, I thought the original idea, I didn't realize this first, that the car turned to dust, like it destroyed
Yeah, me too.
car.
I was like, oh, it destroyed the car, so it's not working yet, so he's going to fail a few times and eventually he'll fix it and it'll be great. No,
and
it just doesn't.
You know what also bothered me? They were talking about, Reed... Hello everybody, this is Sarah 007 here.
With Cyclops.
And we saw that movie that apparently no one else saw, Fant4stic.
Fant4stic. We did see Fant4stic.
I love how everyone's calling it that.
I think it works. It's because otherwise you just call it Fantastic Four, and it's like, well, there was another movie called Fantastic Four, which also was not very good.
And really, this movie was not Fantastic Four.
No.
Let's be honest.
No. It had characters from Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Okay, but
hold on. Let's give it bit some context. You're probably wondering why we're doing this so late.
Yeah.
First off, we did not want to contribute to its opening weekend gross.
That was the main thing. Just when we heard how terrible it was, we were like, all right, we're not gonna go and give this any chance of like any more chance of getting more money for that.
And we also weren't able to get together anyway, so even if we wanted to.
We didn't. I mean, we could have seen it separately, but we figured we'd. And I'm very glad we waited.
I'm glad too, because of all the news stories that came out about the background.
That gave us a lot of context.
Yeah.
The fact that we already went into the movie with all this context of just how much had gone wrong.
Yes. We did not view this as a film. We viewed this as a experiment gone wrong.
Yes. We went in we were very biased against it. I'll give it that. We went in. We did not expect anything.
Although when I went in, I cleared my thoughts of everything until.
Yeah, you were.
The movie started.
I kept bringing up little points, and you were kind of trying to defend it a little bit.
I was trying.
And then it got to a point where we were just laughing. And we'll go to say the reason we're really glad we waited, aside from the new stuff.
Yes.
We ended up going to see this movie at like 2:30 on the day that we're filming this. We saw it a few hours ago. 2:30 in the afternoon. It was in some really small theater, and there was
$6 for tickets.
Yeah.
So that was. It was
a really nice. It was actually a really nice theater.
You wouldn't be able to tell from the outside.
Yeah, no, it's a very sketchy theater, but it's very nice on the inside. And it was the two of us and our old buddy. What was the name that he went by on the channel?
Lipton
Peach Iced Tea.
He showed up for one video in the Marvel Ultimate Alliance playthrough, and then he hasn't shown up since.
Yeah, we might get him back on here eventually, but I don't know about that. He went with us, and we just ripped the movie to shreds while watching, because there was literally no one else in the theater. We were providing our own commentary for it.
It is the best possible viewing experience for this movie.
That was the best way we could have seen it.
I had the best time in a movie theater that I have had all year.
Oh yeah, it was wonderful. I loved that experience.
The movie
was
horrible. Absolutely horrible. But
terrible.
I saw it with you guys, and both of you guys are pretty smart when it comes to like looking for plot and character stuff and figuring out what makes a good movie. So you guys were just ripping it to shreds, and I was just going along for the ride, really.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Few things I want to go ahead and say. I've seen a lot of people saying that it's not as bad as you think. It is totally as bad as you think. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
It really is.
It's hilarious how bad it is.
At a certain point, I was trying to defend it, and at a certain point I was like, it broke me. I'm done.
Yeah.
Screw this movie.
Second point. A lot of people saying it's stupid. No, or not that. Yes, it is stupid. A lot of people saying it's boring. It's not boring.
Yeah,
I would
say it's dull.
I would get. I mean, it might just because we had friends. I would make sure that you don't watch this alone. Don't just sit there and just stare at it. Make sure you have some friends who you just want to go at it with.
And riff at a movie. Would you say this is so bad it's good?
Yes.
See, I would say
absolutely.
That too. Yeah.
Which a lot of people were not saying. That seemed to be the vibe I was getting. I was like, I'm not really looking forward to this because a lot of people are saying it's not so bad it's good.
But once again, we had the ideal viewing.
That's
experience.
True, and that's
since nobody else was in the theater, we didn't feel like beholden to anything or like, oh, maybe we should stay quiet.
No, we were just.
Look at that stupid thing they just said. Isn't that stupid?
Yeah, by the end we were just openly laughing and talking and whatever came to mind.
And cursing at the screen.
Oh, it was great. It was so much fun. Yeah. You probably don't want to go see it. I mean, at this point you might as well, because you're probably going to be able to find really cheap tickets for it. And you might be able to do the same thing we did and find a just completely empty theater where you can just bash the movie freely.
Well, that's only if you like doing that sort of thing.
Which is true.
Go with a bunch of friends who know what this is going in.
Yeah. Except Lipton Peach Iced Tea did not know what it was, but he went in and enjoyed it.
We were like, it's got a 9% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and he was like, oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, and
then he ended up having a great time.
Yeah.
And he's not a big movie guy, and he really enjoyed himself tearing the movie apart. So
yeah, like I mean,
I think we're rubbing off on him.
Yeah, it's just we'll get into the actual specifics of it in a second, but basically,
yeah, and this isn't just a review of the movie. We're also talking about all the background stuff with Josh Trank and Fox and that whole nightmare production. We're covering it all.
Yeah.
Spoilers, obviously, all over this place.
And we'll do that. Spoilers is not really that important either. In this
We're
movie.
pretty much doing a settle for the bronze type thing for this.
Little bit. It's gonna be in depth.
If this video is really long, that that would be why.
But I mean, I know at this point
there's a lot to cover.
I know we have a lot of loyal fans, but even I don't think we can influence the productivity and the profit of this movie at this point.
Oh, okay. No, that's not the point of this. The point is this is just...
No, I'm talking about the fact that I was going to recommend that you should probably, I would say go see it.
Yeah.
Go see it at this point. Go find a super early middle of the day matinee sort of thing. See if you can get some buddies. See if you can try and get your own theater. You know, where nobody else is going to show up, because it's already doing so terribly that it's probably not hard at all to find a small theater that, you know, is going to be completely empty.
Yeah.
Go do that and enjoy the crap out of it, because...
Do not take kids to this movie.
That too.
It's PG-13. Do not take kids to this movie.
That too.
Like,
I don't know why you would, though. We'll go ahead and say this.
Superheroes! I bought their toys once! Please tell me there wasn't a Happy Meal tie-in for this like there was for Batman Returns. This gets dark.
Yeah. It's very strange. It's very strange.
We'll get into all of that.
Yes. All right. So basically, would we recommend it? Yes, for all the wrong reasons.
Yes.
I think you agree with me there.
So bad it's
Don't
good.
see it alone. Get some friends. Get some popcorn. Rip the crap out of it. It's great. It really is.
No.
It really is so bad it's good.
I'll put it to you guys this way. We are planning on doing a commentary of this when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Yes, that's
we want to do a commentary just bashing the movie.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for that, because I came out of the movie theater wanting to see it again, and just go through a second time.
Did you ever think you would say that about this movie?
No.
I know you have wanted this movie to fail.
This movie, well, see, that's the thing. When I first heard about this movie and heard, you know, the direction they were taking everything, I wanted it to be either fantastic, like not a pun or anything. Like I literally just wanted that came out wrong. I wanted to
Did it?
I wanted it to be amazing, or perhaps
sensational.
No, I wanted it to be either really good or just god awful, and it was god awful. I loved it.
But in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Like we're saying, it wasn't like dull or boring.
No. That's the thing that surprised me so much, is that I really did not expect to enjoy myself that much. I thought I was just going to be like...
I was worried that we were going to be bored out of our minds. And then, lo and behold, I was talking about how there's like a couple of throwaway lines where he's like, I wish I was adopted. Because he has like a natural mom, and then he has a stepdad.
Yeah.
And then nothing is done with that at all.
No. They never... We see his parents in one scene, right?
Yeah, when they're trying to teleport the model car.
Yeah, it shows them like freaking out because Reed's doing something.
And then the dad's like, oh, he's doing it again.
Yeah, he's like, what did you do this?
Almost like he's about to go out and abuse him or something.
Yeah.
But then that scene's just completely dropped, and then it cuts to...
And then, 7 years later, cuts to the science fair. And this is another point, this is the second point where the cliche just goes over the rails, because the same teacher... For some reason, was it not the same teacher?
It's Homer Simpson, yes.
The same teacher shows up, and this is 7 years later. So they're what, you know?
Okay.
They're seniors, right?
It's the county fair science.
Yeah,
Science
but
fair?
still,
that doesn't make any sense.
So I guess we're supposed to assume that this kid will never follow his dreams to be a quantum physicist because his teacher just hated him. Basically, he shows up and he's like. And he teleports. He does. Obviously, something happens because he teleports the plane, this kid's model plane.
He's able to successfully teleport.
Let's do a little aside here. The little kid. So we're supposed to believe. You brought this up. We're supposed to believe that.
I was just confused.
That these. I mean, I guess you said it's a county fair, but why are these Reed and Ben are supposed to be, I guess, in 12th grade, which they don't. They look older than high schoolers. They look like college.
Like 30-year-olds.
But this is something that plagues all movies.
Especially Jamie Bell with like all the veins popping out of his neck and stuff. It's like you're not in high school.
And that's whatever, because that's a problem. Literally every movie has. It seems like. I really hope they fix that in the new Spider-Man movie, but we'll see.
For this one, trying to be gritty and realistic, no. I'm calling BS on this one.
There's so much else wrong with it that I'm not even going to care that much.
Yeah, but no. Now that I've seen the movie and I've sat through it, I'm done defending. We're calling everything.
But no, what I was gonna say. So he takes this model plane from this little kid, and I'm trying to figure out like what the deal. Like I guess this little kid is there.
Oh, and for some reason they make a point that they left the model car that they were going to use behind.
Yeah, Ben just forgot it, and it looked like there was gonna be like a comedic thing,
but
and then
it wasn't funny at all.
Reed is just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just steal this kid's plane.
And then he just kind of grabs it, and the kid's like 8.
Yeah, and it's like, why is that kid there? Why is he right beside them? What's going on?
Is it supposed to be like kids from all over the county have been called based on
I guess,
projects?
but wouldn't they be organized in some way so that the 12th graders weren't beside the little elementary schoolers? I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, so back to the point. He steals this kid's plane, and it obviously does something. It if nothing else, he does this like, or his machine creates this like resonancy that destroys the backboard of the hoops.
Yeah.
In the basketball goal.
But the plane ends up coming back and it's clearly charred or like slightly.
Yeah. So it's like obviously
degraded.
this thing is doing something powerful. Like something is going on here.
And Homer Simpson is just like, we don't have time for magic tricks. You guys are disqualified. What?
Why? What? And then, so that happens, and I'm like, what? No. Okay, this is already losing me. This did not take nearly as long as I expected it to. And then, Sue Storm and Franklin Storm.
They just show up.
They just show up.
They're just there.
We don't know why. We don't know how, and that comes back later.
Hi, Reed. Hey, we're conveniently here because we look all over the United States for different science fairs.
All over county. We look at places with county fairs that contain 12th graders and elementary schoolers ranging like in one